We live? Mic test. Mic, make sure the sound working. Slow, so y'all should have done. Mic is still up. All right, clap it up. Today is the Sunday Scripture Breakdown class. Waiting on John Mahayaman to get to drop it in. You know what I'm saying? Today in this class, we want to go to, before Jimmy Mahayaman get here, I wanted to go into compassion for Blacks and Hispanics. It's an echo. What? Okay. Yeah, we want to go into compassion for Black and Hispanics. See, as Blacks and Hispanics, that's one thing that we lack. We lack compassion for each other. And because of that, that's why we're still in this captivity. Because of our lack of compassion, because of our disobedience, because of us not caring about one another. One of the things that's the most important that we have to look at is how destroyed we are, how destroyed we are as a whole, as a nation. And because we're so destroyed, we look for everybody else to reach in and help us. We look for our enemies, our oppressors, other nations. We respect them to come in and fix us, to save us. And that is a slap in the face to the Lord. Somebody give me that in Proverbs 3 and 5. Get it, Pastor Mike. Can we hear? Can you hear me?
Start, yeah.
We good. Okay. All right, somebody go ahead and read that for me. Yeah. Give him another mic.
Proverbs chapter 3, verse 5. Read. Trust in the Lord. Trust in the Lord with all thine and not to thine own understanding.
As Blacks and Hispanics, the thing that we look toward to give us assistance in this hell that we're going through is the government. We think voting is the solution to our problem. We think the reason our life is so hard is because we got the wrong man in office. That's what it is. If we get a new man in office, things will be better. Oh no, the reason my life is so bad is because I'm at the wrong church. I need to switch pastors and then my life will be better. My life is so hard because I'm not educated enough. So I need another degree so that I can get more education. You think the problem in your life is because you don't have enough oppressor in you. That's what you think it is. But the actual problem is, read it again.
Trust in the Lord with all thine heart and lean not unto thine own understanding.
You need to trust in the Lord and stop leaning to your own understanding. The problem is you don't know how to trust in the Lord because your Christian pastor have taught you lies about God. They've told you that God is all love and he's just waiting on you and all you got to do is just love and kiss and dance and sing.
Right.
And now you lean into your own understanding. You don't understand God. You don't understand how it works. You don't understand what righteousness is. You don't understand anything. So now what do you think you should do? Now our Hispanic brothers think life would be better if I just made it to America. Life would be better if I just got out of Venezuela and came over to the Americas. Life would be a whole lot better if we would just flee from one hell to another. Well, the problem is you praying to God to fix your problem, but you're looking to your oppressor to be the real solution. Go ahead, Up.
Sorry, sir. I have a question.
Barack?
Happy to be here with you, getting it on tonight. I'll answer your questions in the room and online. Let's get them together now. Then I'll go into my topic tonight. We'll go into Martin Luther King, the civil rights movement, hypocrisy, and of course your questions. Un momento. Any questions, you can get them on deck now, all right? You ready? I'll take you up front, please.
I had a question.
Please, in the back, go ahead.
I have a question about how do we refer Hispanics and natives and blacks and put them in the same pot that becomes Israel?
Say that one more time.
How do we defer them? Aside from other people that look like us, this is another question.
Got you.
My bad, yeah. But how do we, how can I, tell them, Hispanics, blacks, and Native Americans are the same people, but without going into the 1 9? How do I tell them, because we always, personally myself, I'm always a skin.
I got you. And what is the difference between Hispanic skin and so-called black skin?
Right.
Now, I'm asking you, if you looked at it by our skin, do you see some difference in our skin?
That's right.
I'm asking, who's darker?
You are.
Then who?
And me.
Okay, any Judites in the room, raise your hand. All right, how about this brother right up front? Stand up. Are you darker than him? You know, no, how about this brother right here? Right here, you. Come, look at him. Are you darker than him? Behind you. Are you darker than him?
Yeah.
Have you met I have a brother in the truth named Captain Ty War. You ever see him before?
Yeah.
He's my physical brother, same mother, same father. He's light-skinned. You should see my father. Okay, when he was alive, brother, he was lighter than you. Right? We have a word for it among Judah. We call them high yellow people. You heard that term before? They're called high yellow. Okay, light-skinned. Okay. Let me give you the myth about Hispanic skin. Have you seen some Hispanics that are super dark? You never been in the island and seen them before? Oh, you got to travel them because they're out there. You've seen them before, right? Oh, they're super dark. Here's one of the myths about so-called blacks and Hispanics, that all Hispanics are light-skinned and all black people are dark-skinned. And we as black people know that's not true because we, of course, know about the light-skinned black people. And any Hispanic that has traveled or been around the islands where Hispanics live, I mean, you can see extremely dark Hispanics. There's something called the Olmecs in Mexico where they would find these stone statues. And the statues would have big lips and what they call Africanoid features. And they always say, well, the Africans must have came to Mexico. That's the only way this statue could get there. And in the UPK, they always told us, why does this have to be a statue of an African that came to Mexico? Right. It's a giant head in Mexico. Right. Why can't this just be the head of a Mexican? Right. But when they see these big lips and this nose, well, the Olmecs in Mexico, they say, well, this must be, a Negro that came to Mexico. It's not. It's just a Mexican with big lips because they come like that. Right. Just like the Judites come with small lips. Precept. Behold, Israel is as unto me as a speckled bird. We're not, blue jays or, red robins. We're a bird of different shades of brown. And it's some myth. I'll explain to you where the myth comes from. It's some myth that we're all one color. The myth comes from slavery and from selling us based on our skin complexion. In slavery, we were graded. Like you would grade, single malt scotch or a blended scotch or a brown liquor or white liquor. Like you would grade them based on the color. Slaves were graded based on their color. In Puerto Rico, in Mexico, in Guatemala, and in Mississippi, and in Texas. They were graded based on their color. If a slave was what they, this made up word that they made invented called Negro, which is a word that was just simply made up to be able to say he's a Negro, which means he's dark skinned, so he's better for dark skin jobs. And if you were light skinned, they made up a word called mulatto, which is a made up word, just like you make up single malt scotch or blended scotch or dark or brown. It's for marketing purposes. And they said mulattoes are good for this job. Then they would breed the Negroes for that specific job and breed the mulattoes for that specific job. And when you went to sell them, you could have a list of what they are. He's a 6'2" mulatto. He knows this and he knows that. She's a 5-foot Negro or Negress, and she can do this. And it's all how they divided us to sell us, to market us. But Hispanics come in different shades of brown. So-called black people come in different shades of brown. That division is made up by the slave master. Before your point, speaking of scotch, why don't we have one right now to celebrate Austin, Texas? Not that I'm rushing, but the brother was talking about scotch, so he reminded me of it. What else did you want to say? I'm bringing you one just because you mentioned skin color, right? Do you need some more, or do we go into this topic? Let me give you a little more. You know about all the precepts in the Bible, right? I would not make that small that we have a biblical blood connection. That's a pretty big connection. Right. And it's a connection we don't have with anyone else. Right. Let me tell you why blacks and Hispanics should come together, because family is important. Family. The connection in our race is an extension of your family. You would never hear anyone say, well, he's only my cousin. Why should I care about him? He doesn't live in my house. He wasn't raised in my home. He's just my cousin. Well, she's only my grandparent. She's not my mother. I wasn't raised with her. Everyone knows that family matters, except when it comes to race. What are the people in your race if not your family? Right. This is your extended family. All of them don't look just like you. Just like your extended family doesn't look just like you. Right. Your brothers and sisters resemble you more than your third cousin and your fourth cousin. Right. But that doesn't mean that you're not related. Your blood is the same. Your family and the Hispanics and black people, we're family. We're family. The Bible says we're family. And if you care about your mother and father, then you should care about the people in your tribe, in your race, because they're your family. The connection is the same. It's the same. It's like you care about care about your third and fourth cousins or your ancestors. Well, if you care about them, why wouldn't you care about black people? Right. Why wouldn't you care about Hispanics? They're your extended family. We have a connection biblically through our bloodline, through our genealogy. Let me give you the other thing that is practical. We have a common enemy, and that, brother, can be everything. We have a common adversary. Who can deny us that? Who can say, if you don't know biblical history, if you don't know the genealogy of blacks and Hispanics, if you don't know that, if you don't know, if you can't notice that there are darker skinned Hispanics, maybe you just never noticed it before. Have you been to the Dominican Republic once or twice? You know what they say? You know what Dominicans say? They're not black. Right, yeah. Dominicans are darker than me, and they say they're not black. Why? Right. Because they weren't sold as black people. Right. That's not how they were sold. That wasn't the marketing of Dominicans. So to this day, Dominicans who are super dark skinned don't believe they're black people. They're not black. Ask anyone, look it up, type it in your phone. Dominicans do not believe they're black. Their skin color is irrelevant to them. They're not black because black is how Judites were marketed as being black. They weren't marketed like that. They did a different job. You understand? Right. If you didn't know about any of that, then you know that we have a common enemy on it. There is one enemy trying to destroy both blacks and Hispanics. And the ignorance of the existence of that enemy is causing us to lose this war, young man. We're losing. We're not winning. You think Hispanics are winning? You think the Mexicans are winning? Guatemalans are winning? Haitians, the tribe of Judah, the so-called Negro, we are losing this fight partly because we refuse to take on our natural ally. And Hispanics and black people are natural allies against this enemy. Natural. And no. You know what? Maybe it's simpler. Maybe all of the blonde-haired white people should not come together with the red-haired white people. Because they look totally different. One of them got freckles. It's white people with freckles and red hair. White people with white people from Ireland with red hair. White people from Italy who are dark-skinned and have brunette hair. Maybe they should not be together. Come to find out, when black people and Hispanics came to America, you know what was invented? Was not invented before that. Let me give you the definition of something that only existed once blacks and Hispanics came to America. The concept of white people. Yeah. Before Hispanics and black people came to America, there was no such thing as white people. You know what they were? Irish, Italian, German, and they all hated each other. And they all fought each other and went to war with each other. They couldn't stand each other. I remember buying a home in this neighborhood 20 years ago. And I went in, I'm talking to the realtor, and he said, this is a mixed neighborhood. This is a mix. They've integrated. You got Irish and Italian. That's what he said. He said, this is a mixed neighborhood. Irish, Italian. I remember going, mixed? Irish, and what the hell? That's not mixed. It is to them because they were separate. There was the concept of white people only existed to make a difference between every group of white people and you. So they could do what? Come together under one name. Before that, there was no such thing as white people. The Irish hated the Italians and fought the Italians and would not move into a neighborhood with the Italians. The Germans, everyone hated them. They couldn't stand them. They were all enemies and they would not live with each other. They would fight each other and unalive each other. Then black people came out of the South and started to just spread, and Hispanics kept coming over here, coming over to America. Then they began to say, you know what, instead of being Germans and Italians, we're white people now. Now we're white. Right. When the slaves were freed out here in the South, and the slaves began to get power and authority, then people had to step up and protect the white race. Before that, they were Scottish and Germans. That's what they were. People from Scotland who hated the people from England, who couldn't stand them. White people realized that they had to band together or else they would lose to us. And they did. And here you and I go in 2024, living in the same ghetto, watching the news every night, you know how many people are in prison in Texas? More people than anywhere on the planet Earth. You understand me? On the planet Earth. It used to be California years ago when I first came into the truth. Around the time of Bill Clinton and George Bush, it was California. Now it's Texas. Texas has more people in prison than anywhere on the planet Earth. Texas unalives people, brother. I mean, at an astonishing rate. I think you have China, Iran, and America. That's the list of how many people get unalived in prison with capital punishment. No one arrests more blacks and Hispanics in prison. If you go to prison, who in the hell are you going to see? Who's in there? You and me are in there. That's who's there. That's who's there. And guess what? In that environment, we're still separate. We still don't realize that we're sitting here in prison fighting over Fritos and donuts. We still don't get it that we're losing this war. We're losing. Well, since you love white people so much, I appreciate your word. Why don't we do something that white people did? The same way the Germans and the Italians realized that they had an enemy and they had to band together. We should realize that we have an enemy, and blacks and Hispanics should band together. Orally. With that said, uno moment. Por favor. You can get your questions on deck, all right? Yashikar gave me so many good notes. I got so list. I'll battle one of you Hispanic brothers in Spanish. Don't play that. Y'all should charge noon. Give me a half an hour.
Right. Damn right.
Okay. Share with me right there. He sent me this, sent me that. Stand by. Stand by. All this is good. Stand by. Somos la escuela de conocimiento. Somos la escuela de conocimiento práctico universal desde 1 Oeste Calle 125 Harlem, Nuevo York, bajo el comando de el general Johanna desde 1969. Carnales, esta es la verdad. Si tú eres latino, negro o indio nativo, tú eres Israel, el pueblo elegido Dios, tu madre y tu padre, dicen que somos un culto y mantienen su iglesia sin culpa. Pero la iglesia es culpa de todo lo que nos está pasando. Órale. Preguntas. Please. Próxima pregunta.
Assalamu alaikum. Can I get a breakdown, sir, of the book of Matthew, chapter 24, verse 29, 31? Specifically, what does it mean? The star shall fall from heaven,
Oh, well, you're seeing that every day, young boy. But you see, that's happening with Puff Diddy. That's happening with Donald Trump. That's happening with George Washington, Thomas Jefferson. These are the people of your childhood, idols of your childhood. Right? There was a time, brother, you couldn't say anything bad about Puff Daddy. I remember that. He was the example of black excellence. If you thought about the term black excellence, it was Puff Daddy at a party with Barack Obama and Jay-Z and Beyonce. And they embodied everything you wanted to be. T.D. Jakes, they used to try to kill us at camp over T.D. Jakes. You know that, Yatazak. They hated you over T.D. Jakes. They wanted to fight you and call the police on you over T.D. Now that's laughable. It's like a laughable notion that someone would actually feel physically violent over an insult that was made to T.D. Jakes. Brother, that is not how it was 7 years ago, 8 years ago. Right. Creflo Dollar, forget about it. Right. Thomas Jefferson, people that were always slave masters, and we would fight the reputation that everyone had of these men for years. Now, they're falling in reputation. Right. Now everyone understands who they are better than they did before. That's what the scripture is talking about. Go ahead and read it, boy.
So this is the book of Matthew, chapter 24, verse 29. Immediately after the tribulation of those days shall the sun be darkened, and the moon shall not give her light.
Yeah, this is not talking about an eclipse. Right? I understand this entire area is a bunch of moon worshiping hippies. Right. That's the problem with Austin. A ton of white hippies live in this place. And white hippies love to get high. And when you get high, you need a God that you can look up to who does not tell you what to do. Right. And the sun has always been perfect for that. Since Egypt. The moon is excellent because you can go, wow, it's so beautiful. And then you can look down and have sex with whatever you want. Eat whatever you want. Do whatever you want. But you can just wonder at the magnificence of this thing in the sky. And people, hippies and idiots have always worshipped the sun and the moon because the sun and the moon are beautiful, but they don't talk. They don't give orders. They don't have rules. So many people will read this precept and think this is talking about this solar eclipse, which means absolutely nothing. Right? It's not. It's speaking about something that really does affect your life. And that's the people you look up to. You understand? That's the sun and the moon because you look up to them. This is talking about Puff Daddy, black excellence, the preacher, the civil rights movement. Let me hit you to how ridiculous the civil rights movement is. And this is more known than it ever was on the planet. The civil rights movement, a lot of it took place here in Texas, as you know. You know, this is a powerfully Christian place, Texas. Christians are so powerful here, and so much of the civil rights movement happened here. You want to say something, brother, in the back? You had your hand up? Please.
So this is a correlation of serving.
They need the microphone, warrior. Go ahead.
Is this a correlation of us observing those things as an excuse to commit sins?
Okay, think of it a little differently. You serve these things because in serving them, you can't commit any sin. There is no sin. Go ahead.
It's a lot, sir. But like we find, like this is like a celebration of those things.
What is a celebration?
I don't know.
You mean the solar eclipse worship and people thinking it's a big deal and thinking it means something about Jesus or space or something like that. Is that what you mean, the solar eclipse? So say what you're saying again. What's your point?
Like that's we correlated to justify beliefs. It justifies us believing other guys and go for the kids and whatnot.
Oh, it justifies it, meaning the solar eclipse gives us a reason to worship it. Is that what you mean or not?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I think that's right. Fine, I'll take it. The point that all you need to know is that don't worship it. Make sure that's firm in your mind.
Right.
Do not worship the sun. Don't worship the moon. I'll give you some precepts on it tonight. The sun and the moon are creations here to serve you. You're not supposed to serve the sun and the moon. The sun and the moon serve you.
Right.
You understand? All right. I'll prove that tonight for you brothers that might need it. What I'm trying to make you understand is why the sun and the moon have been so worshipped throughout history, and why the Most High God has not been so worshipped throughout history. Because the Most High God has rules, and the sun does not have any rules. It's simply something beautiful to look at, like the goddess Beyonce. Like her, she's lovely to look at, and you can look at her and then go about the business of being the immoral, disgusting bastard that exists. And guess what? Beyonce is fine with that. She's not going to reject you. The sun and the moon will never reject you for your immorality. They'll always be there for you too. Say it. Look up to. This is talking about celebrities, politicians, your idols. Even that term is a statue. But what have people become? Idols. Everyone understands. Am I done here? Go ahead.
Like if I could, just to your last point, I picked my kids up from school today and dropped them off at their mothers. And I'll be getting this weekend to come to class and clean. But so they both asked me, my son and my daughter, they were like, "Hey, Dad, we're gonna bring our glasses with us." Glasses with us. I said, "Glasses for what?" They were like, "Look at the eclipse." Daddy's all watching the eclipse. And I was like, "Okay, I'm gonna talk with you behind you." I was literally what I said to them before I headed out here. So, should we tell our children to not participate in this
to participate in what?
The observance of the eclipse.
When you say observe, you mean to look up in the sky? Yes. Okay, come on.
I'm sorry, so should we dissuade them from doing that? Basically saying, no, I'm not doing that. In the same way how, with birthdays and Christmas and everything else, should we treat it the same way? Or can it look at it as like a scientific thing to observe it, what it is, and then just give them a breakdown of what this actually is, which is nothing.
Okay. Looking up in the sky, right? You can go out there and do it right now. You can go a little bit through, right? Looking up at the sun means nothing. Your children absolutely can look at the solar eclipse because you won't get to see it another time for 25 years. It's different. I've been in the truth when the last eclipse happened. You understand? I've been married the last eclipse happened. That's commitment. That's a real thing. Who knows what a cicada is down here? Give that a hand. That's a rare thing. Who knows what a cicada is? You know what a cicada is, sister? What is it? Microphone.
Like it's like a locust. It's like a little.
And how often does it come out?
I believe it's 20 years.
Yeah, about 25 years. I've been married to my ribs from cicada to cicada. And I can give them one more cicada. Now, two more, I don't know. two more might be a young brother's job to handle that last one. A young man might have to do that last cicada. but I'm good for another cicada. Well, that's the real thing. Well, listen, an eclipse, it's so rare. It's a rare thing. It happens every 25 years. You can look up at the sky at the thing, right? Like Halley's Comet. Halley's Comet comes around, 100 years or something like that, 75 years. If you see it, go ahead and look at the thing. There's Halley's Comet. There it is right there. I saw it. There's the eclipse. I saw it. Just don't worship it. Now, if you can't look at it without worshiping it, then don't look.
Right.
You got to just know how weak you are or strong you are. If you think that your kids are going to go, then go inside the class. Get in there and go sit down. Go sit down and just don't look up. But if you can look at a thing and not worry about it, then do it. Let me give you an example. Can you listen to hip hop music without doing the thing they're saying? Because some of you are dumb. Some of you are dumb as hell. And you cannot listen to rap. Because if you listen to rap, you are going to do what the rapper tells you to do. You're going to hit with sell drugs, pop Molly? Right. Pop Molly, you say. Are you sure? Take Percocet. Are you sure about that? Oh, I guess I must go take Percocets. I have to take Percocets. He said to take Percocets. You heard Future. You heard it. I got the breakdown on Percocets. They gave it to me. I got Snoop Dogg's breakdowns on weed. I have to do it. If you're stupid, then don't listen to hip hop either. Because you're going to hear about someone robbing and stealing and having sex and having threesomes. Right. And you're going to have to go do it because they're your idols and you look up to them. Other people can listen to hip hop, bop their head to it, and turn it off and not live like the rapper. They don't feel that pull to idolize the person you're listening to on this music. If you're stupid, you shouldn't listen to hip hop. If your kids are stupid, they shouldn't look up in the sky. All right? Next. Preguntas. Come on. Toxic. Go ahead.
In Leviticus 20:20, when it says that they shall bear their sin and they shall die childless, I got a question on that.
No problem.
Leviticus chapter 20, verse 20. And if a man shall lie with his uncle's wife.
You need the microphone, Warrior. Go ahead.
Check this. And if a man shall lie with his uncle's wife, yet uncover his uncle's nakedness, they shall bear his sins. They shall die childless.
Your question in particular?
The question is, how do they bear the sin? And with the dying childless, does that have to do with their child would be like a bastard, or would it come to the congregation, or does it mean like the Lord make them parents?
It means they're going to be unalive. That's how they're going to die childless, because somebody's going to walk into the house, drag them out to the outskirts of the city and stone both of them. So they're going to die childless. Now, if you didn't want to get stoned, what would you have to do?
Not sin.
Oh, well, let's say you did this, but you don't want to be stoned. Think logically.
Okay.
Run.
Right.
And that's where the Gentiles come from, the people who are cut off. They're fugitives in the Bible. So there would be sins pronounced that would mean they have to be unalive. And they would be gone, cut off from their people. They don't come around. And if they do come around, people say, who are you? Who's your father? Because maybe you were the child of one of those bastards that ran out of here because they were an adulterer, or they had sex with their uncle's wife or their father's wife. And you would have to run your lineage down so they could know who you were. Because if you were from him, you couldn't come in here because your parents were supposed to die childless. So this is a law you got unalive. The Israelites have a lot of laws that put stones on your dumb head. You understand? A lot of them to deter foolishness. You get my point. Anything else?
No, that was because normally there was I just didn't know if that would have been that got put to death. Because normally it specifically says how to put them to death as well.
The priest knew both of those precepts. Just think that how this one is saying. This one is explaining it more. They shall bear their sin, which means what? That they're going to deal with the repercussions of their actions. That's what bearing your sin means. Meaning you've done this thing, now you're going to handle the repercussions. That's how you bear your sin. I did the crime, I have to do the time. Right? So many people snitch because they can't bear their sin, like Al Sharpton. He's a snitch. A lot of your cousins and your family members were snitches. A snitch exists because he gets arrested, and instead of just saying, they got me, I did it. I'm going to jail. I'll bear my punishment. They say I'm not bearing my punishment, so I'm going to give up all of these people and let them take their punishment. I'm going home, which is why a snitch is a disgusting thing. Because if you did something out, handle the repercussions of it. Go to jail.
Right.
Walk in there and go to effing jail. You understand? Yeah. In the back, young brother. Please.
Did the law start with Adam or Jacob?
The law?
Yes, sir.
The law starts with Moses. The law. Now, what is the law?
6 books that are
No. The law is the state-run organization that instituted the traditions that Aaron passed down to his family. That's what the law is. The thing of the law as the government, the police. That's the law. Before Moses, I'll give you the perfect example. Who was the first murderer in the Bible? Cain. Did Cain get stoned? No. Cain didn't get stoned. Cain, everybody hated what Cain did. He had to run and hide in the mountains. He was a what? Count this out. He was a fugitive. He had to leave. Because everybody said, he did what to Abel? My God, this thing is unheard of. No one ever did anything like this. He had to go on the run and hide. And he lived in those mountains and raised up children in those mountains. And those children became just as wicked as he, even 7 times more wicked than he. That's in the Bible, young man. Even worse than that. Right. But there was no cop that dragged him out of his cave and said, you have to be put to death. The Most High said you couldn't put him to death. Right. That was before the law. The ark of Noah's Ark. You're familiar with that story, right? 7 of every clean animal was taken on the ark. 2 of every unclean animal, which tells you what about Noah? He had the law of the dietary law. He knew what animals were clean and what animals were not clean, but there was no law that cut your head off if you didn't do it. Our laws were traditions, family traditions, things we decided to do. That's what Adam said. Adam said, because he married Eve, from this point forward, a man shall leave his mother and father and take hold of his wife. That was the family tradition, to only marry someone in your family, flesh of your flesh, bone of your bone, family that I made from my family. It wasn't the law, it was the tradition. It was what we accepted as a family. Then later on, Moses got in charge. And he took those laws and he cut your head off if you broke them. That's the law. You get my point? So the law comes from Moses. The commandments come from Adam. The rules, what to do, comes from Adam. So you just want to think commandments so I can make you understand being told to do something, the opposite of being punished when you don't do it. Being punished when you don't do it is from Moses, and that is considered the law in the New Testament. You understand, young boy? Next. Up front.
What is it?
No problem.
I got a question now. It's you that we the Torah basically right now, because my question has to deal with that. So, the question right here is, just say for example, if the Israelites today owns a business, right? Are we required to keep Deuteronomy 24 and 15 when it says that Deuteronomy 24 and 15 says, and this day thou shalt give them his house. Neither shall the sun go down upon it, for he is poor, and sit his heart upon it, lest he call against thee unto the Lord, and he sins unto thee. So basically, it's speaking about being paid the same day.
Of course.
So I'm wondering, my question is, if I own a business and I hire this employee brother wrong, will that require me to pay the same day? Or can I pay him the way the white folks, because today we weekly, bi-weekly, or monthly?
I got you. Well, that's an important question for brothers that want to try to become entrepreneurs in America. Here's what you have to realize if you go start a business. You'll find out what most business owners and entrepreneurs find out is they don't really have a business. You understand? It's like you're going to think you own a business because it's your dream to be an entrepreneur. You're your boss, right? That's what you think in your mind because of TV and the internet. When you go to own a business, you'll realize you don't have any money to pay your employees at the end of the day. You don't have anything. So if you're an entrepreneur and you own the business, absolutely, you are who it's talking to. You are the one it's talking to. You have to take the money at the end of the night and pay him for what he's done today, like a day worker, which a lot of brothers do that. They're day workers, right? That person who can do that is an actual business owner. What you'll find in about 80% of the cases is when you go to try to pay your employee at the end of the night, tomorrow the doors are shut, and their business is gone. And then your brother will go, well, where am I working at today? You'll say, find both of us a job because I don't have a job. I don't have a business anymore. So you're not really an entrepreneur. You just want to do it in your mind because in your mind it's easier than working in slavery. 80% of people will find out it's a lot more difficult and you make less money being your own boss. You make less money doing that. So, but once again, if you own a business, yes, make everyone a day worker. It's the law. If you own business, if you don't, and really the bank owns it, or your landlord owns it, then you're just an employee, just like him. And really, you're not getting paid, and neither is he. You're taking home nothing. He's taking home nothing. Both of you are just hoping that one day maybe this dream will come true. But you don't really own a business, which is why you're poor and have nothing and sleep in the back of the business. You get my point? You're sleeping in there because you don't really own the place. You have no money to give your employee. You work there just like him. You're a manager because you work for the bank. You work for the landlord. You work for people who bring you your goods. Real, I forget what they call them, suppliers, whatever. You work for somebody, and you're really getting caught up for them, and you're not getting neither is want to be in. Next, one more minute. Go ahead. Anyone online? You got it, boy.
Go ahead. This is Malachi chapter 2, verse 14 to 15. This is a general breakdown to see the metaphor. Verse 14. Yet say, wherefore, because the Lord hath been witness between thee and the wife of thy youth, against whom thou hast dealt treacherously. Yet was she thy companion and the wife of thy covenant. Verse 15. And did not know anyone, yet had he the residue of the Spirit. And wherefore of that he might set the God to see. Therefore said he to
if you could, I'll give you a question in specific.
Is this metaphorically? Because sometimes the Bible is twofold. Sometimes see this metaphorically.
All right, so you need a breakdown from the top?
Come on.
All right, go ahead and read.
Continue to read back from the top.
Back from the top. Verse
14. Yet say, whereof, because the Lord hath been witness between thee and the wife of thy youth, against whom thou hast dealt treacherously. Yet is she thy companion and the wife of thy covenant.
I'm missing. What's the part you think would be metaphoric?
Relating to like is it just talking about the covenant, or is it really speaking about?
Oh, I got you. For you, I understand. Where are you at? I need to read above it a little bit to get that.
All right. Read chapter 2, verse 14 and 15.
Go ahead.
Verse 11,
please.
Verse 11. Judah had dealt treacherously, and an abomination is committed in Israel and in Jerusalem. For Judah has proclaimed the holiness of the Lord, which he loved, and married the daughter of his friend God.
Keep going.
Verse 12. The Lord will put off the man that does this, the master and the scholar, out of the tabernacle of Jacob, and him that offered an offering unto the Lord of hosts. Verse 13. And this have ye done again, covering the altar of the Lord with tears.
Where's your question at? How much further down?
The next verse, 14.
Go ahead.
14, I'll continue.
You can stop there. That's not a metaphor.
Okay.
That's direct. What is it speaking about? Same office.
It is speaking about the covenant of breaking sin.
What's the topic?
The topic
It's a direct topic. You read it.
the wife of youth.
And what have you done to the wife of your youth in this context?
Dealt treacherous
How?
by not being faithful to the wife.
And how did you demonstrate that lack of faith?
By creating abomination.
Read about it when you started again.
13.
Wherever you started.
Okay, 11. Judah had dealt treacherous, and an abomination was committed in Israel and in Jerusalem. For Judah had profaned the holiness of the Lord love, and had married the daughter of a strange God.
How did this man or this nation show their lack of faithfulness? By marrying the daughter of a strange God. Having sex with women outside your race is an insult to Black and Hispanic women. It's an insult to them. It's a rejection of your mother, of your sister. It's an insult to them. You've done something evil to them. Any man who has sex with a woman outside of his race, in your mind, you're thinking you're just acting on your own desire. You know, like choosing what do you want to eat tonight? You want chicken, or you want ribs, or you want, a ham sandwich. In your mind, you're just choosing your desire. You are actually insulting every Black and Hispanic woman by choosing a woman outside of your race. It's an insult to them. And the Most High God is a witness against you for them. Read it from the top. Now I'll break it down for you.
Verse 14. Yet you say, whereof, because the Lord has been witness between me and the wife of thy youth.
Once again, you'll say, when did I do this? When did I do this against my woman? When did I do this against my wife? You'll say, whereof? Because the Most High has seen what you've done. That's another amazing thing about sin, especially sexual sin. Sexual sin is so powerful because it's done in private. Because it's done in private, people think that no one will ever know. That's why child molestation is rampant throughout the Christian church. Rampant in there. Why? Because it's done in private, and the victim is taught to shut his mouth about things that happen in this house. The victim is told to never talk about things like this, ever. Don't ever tell anybody. So it's something that you can do in the dark, and no one will ever speak about it. Which also, you should go research the studies about prison. 80% of the women in prison have been sexually molested as children, and 69% of the men have been sexually assaulted as children, which is why if you go to prison and you are a child molester, you're getting stuck. Because the people in there know what a foul thing you are. Because their uncle was like you. But they were boys then. They were children. They couldn't do anything about it then. But now they're grown men. Now they're grown men, and they'll do something about it now. That's how prevalent child molestation is. People think, no one will know about it because it's done in the dark. Prostitution. You think no one will know what you're doing in your car. No one will know what you're doing in some nasty hotel. No one knows what you're doing in your home. First of all, if you're in the UPK, we know everything that you do. There is nothing that you do that we don't know. First of all, your wife calls and tells us about it. Step one. And we never call you. When I say we, I mean me. Through this whole thing, when I'm saying we, just know I'm really meaning me. So your wife calls us and tells us exactly what you're doing. And we can just look at you and tell. A lot of you smoke and you think we don't know. We know you smoke. We're looking right at you and we can tell that you smoke. You think you keep it hidden. Why? Because it happens in your dark secret cave of your car, in your home. Like your car is your private. That's the privy place, that car of yours. you think a lot of you in that Uber, you Ubering so goddamn much. You think that car is your office, bedroom, everything. Oh, you're so stupid. Everyone knows how that you smoke. Everyone. You can look at you and tell that you smoke. But you know what's happening with you? Mercy is happening with you. Kindness, patience, it's happening with you. You're getting time to get your nasty ass together. But the Most High is a witness to it. He sees it. And he sees that you're out there having sex with white girls and Chinese women and African women. He sees it. He knows it. You think he doesn't, but he does. He's not like the moon, who doesn't have eyes to see what you do. He's not like the sun. He sees what you're doing on the internet, fishing every nasty white whore on the internet, so you can go have sex with them. Well, not only are you dishonoring your own body, but you're dishonoring my daughter. You're dishonoring my sister. And the Lord God is going to be judged between you and her. That's what this precept is about. No, sir. Any questions online? Are we online? Go ahead.
So we got one question online. He says, is it lawful to stop telling the truth to your rib if she doesn't believe?
Is it lawful? Does he mean by stop telling the truth? Does he mean lie? There's, of course, a difference between the two things, all right? Let me just give you the nutshell. A lot of you are married to an enemy. And because she's your enemy, you should not be open with her. You should not do that. You're a fool. You're really like a child who wants to lay down on your mommy's lap and tell her about everything in your life. All right? You should not do that because your wife is an enemy. You shouldn't do that. Let me tell you something else to take it a step further. By telling your wife everything, and many times it's selfish because you need this person who you can fall on and cry in front of and tell her about your problems. But your wife might need you to be strong. Right. And so what you should do is not be so selfish to tell your wife everything. A lot of you go and talk bad about me to your wife. I know because she tells us. Well, General, he said he ain't gonna listen to nothing y'all say. He said he ain't gonna let no man, this is what I always say. He said he ain't gonna let no man tell him what to do in his house. Oh, y'all don't know, I know you say that. They always call and tell me. And I just act like I didn't hear anything. I just ignore it because you said that to your wife in private. And it's not important for me to counsel you in your marriage problems. So I ignore any insults that you might give the men above you because I know you're just talking to her and you think that you can vent to her. Isn't that the word you weaklings use? Vent. You need somebody to vent to complain to. Well, you're doing it and you feel good about it, but you might also be teaching your wife that you're weak. Because here's what you don't know. Your wife does not think it's a good thing to be disloyal. Why show your wife that you're disloyal? Because she's thinking, damn, he with them brothers all the time. He's talking bad about his brother. He's sitting there talking bad about these brothers that he would every weekend go to camp with. He come home and talk bad about them to me. Your wife isn't thinking, yeah, you're right, baby. Those brothers ain't nothing. Your wife is thinking, he act like he's so UPK. He hate those brothers. He always talk about those brothers. Maybe you should shut your mouth so that your wife doesn't know how disloyal you are because she needs to look up to you. Your wife needs to look at you like a man that can handle her business. So by revealing all of your petty weaknesses to your wife, you're actually hurting her because then she'll look at you and go, this cat is not like he acts like when he's around these brothers. So instead, be what your wife needs you to be. So you're strong. You don't reveal to her your weaknesses or your problems that you have with other brothers in the school. Right. You don't reveal to her all of your sadnesses. You keep a strong face to your wife so that she can have your strength when she needs it. Some of you also have an enemy laying in your bed. And if you tell her everything, brother, she's going to use it to hurt you. So you should not tell your wife everything, but you also should not lie to your wife because it is weak. It is done only to preserve yourself from some petty punishment that you think your wife will give you. She'll kick you out. She'll do this to you. She'll argue with you. Some of you are so weak you can't stand arguing. Why can't you just argue every day?
Right.
If that's what she wants to do.
Right.
You can't argue every day with a woman, but you can go out in the street and battle what? The military?
Right.
And the police? And drug dealers and Muslims? Yeah, you can argue with her every day. You can do it every day. So don't tell her. Keep your mouth shut. That's in Micah the 7th chapter, young warriors. All right. Next.
Can you hear me from headquarters?
Good enough.
We got one more question, sir. If you could. Officer 5000 Shabal of Las Vegas. He wants a general breakdown of chapter 5, verse 1.
Uno más, por favor, all right? See? Go ahead.
Give me the verse.
Gracias. Please, I'm sorry. What was your question again?
Officer Shabal.
Sure.
Las Vegas.
Have a little class. This might be averaging. Hell no. Who knows? So I need to chase it too if I could. Like, we'll take more of that. What was the question again?
Officer Shabal, Officer 5000 Shabal from Las Vegas. General breakdown of Leviticus chapter 5, verse 1.
All right. Okay.
Leviticus chapter 5, verse 1. And if a soul sin and hear a voice of swearing, and is a witness, whether he has seen or known of it, if he do not utter it, then he shall bear the iniquity.
Let me break down for it. A prayer like a promise that you make to do with it. Now, this promise was done before the priest. So, for instance, let's say you made an oath. Like all of us in here, the best way for you to understand it is each officer in the UPK, each trooper, each sister that gets her Hebrew name, all of you have taken an oath. Raise your hand if you've done this and didn't know it was an oath. Good. Okay, your camp leader's responsibility is to make sure you understand that when you get a Hebrew name, you are taking an oath. When you become an officer, at each rank grade, you take an oath to carry out the new responsibilities of that rank. That's an oath. Now, you need to know it's an oath because if you break that oath, you will absolutely be punished for breaking it. Absolutely. I've seen what happens to people who break that oath. Most of them are in the grave. What? They're in the grave. People that break that oath. You understand? Besides that, I've seen them become lesbians, homosexuals, living outside, bag ladies, schizophrenics. I've seen everything happen to a man or a sister who breaks their oath. Now, imagine you took an oath to do a thing. There are always witnesses. That's in the Bible. It's here that you took this oath. So if you heard someone took an oath, but then when you're asked about it, you say, no, I didn't hear him promise that. Then you're going to pay just like the person did who broke the oath. That's what this precept is talking about. If you're a witness to an oath, now in many cases in Israel, this might happen with money or goats or sheep, where someone might pledge to do a thing, pledge to give up 10 sheep. Now there's a witness there. That's the one that witnesses that witnesses the transaction, right? Just like I think we do the same thing on contracts today, right? You do a contract today, there's a line there for a witness, right? I believe that's normal. That's where that concept comes from. This person was a witness to it. So when the inevitable dispute comes about whether or not this person said they were going to do this thing, they're going to go to the witness. Now, if the witness lies and said, no, he never promised that, then that witness is going to pay the same thing that the person owes. Why? Because usually it would happen because the person who made the oath would go to you privately and say, listen, I'll give you 2 goats if you lie and say I never promised 10 goats. And that's how it usually would happen. So because of that, the Most High God punishes the lying witness who lied in the favor of the person who broke their oath. Everybody gets it, right? Oh, God. Next.
Any questions for the class?
Captain in the back.
Right, sir. Melchizedek, Christ's final form, meaning is he Christ? I don't know. I don't know. I know how to think it.
Okay. Final. What do you mean by final?
Okay, like how when you transform in the end of the life,
right?
is that Melchizedek?
Okay, there's no scripture that says Melchizedek was taller than anyone else or that had red eyes and a white beard. So I could not say that when Christ was transformed, he was Melchizedek. That's not in the Bible. I would have to say that Yahushua is the last form of Christ. Because the Yahushua that the apostles saw after he rose from the dead, they could not recognize. And in the Apocrypha, when it describes how upon Mount Zion was one taller than anyone else, and he was putting crowns upon their head, that was Yahushua because it says Jesus in that same chapter. So I would have to say that Yahushua is the final form of Jesus Christ. You understand?
The reason I asked is because it's called the King of Peace.
Mm-hmm.
And he didn't get that title until at the end of the war.
Get the title? Well, he absolutely had the title as Melchizedek. He lost the title as Adam, went up to the Father and had not come back, and then, of course, got his title back. So I wouldn't say he didn't get the title, but he had to fight to get it back, which is why he said, now it is finished. He went, when he went on that cross, like he did something terrible. Is that horrible thing? Right? The worst thing that had ever been done. Because of one man, death came into the world. But also through one man, did life come into the world. And that is the second Adam. So he already was chosen by God to rule the planet Earth. He was already the King of Peace. Then he, of course, lost it. Then he appeared to Abraham simply to receive tithes and to do nothing else. And that's in the book of Hebrews. He appeared to take the tithes. And then he went back. He was only there to establish the new priesthood that would supersede the Levitical priesthood. Then he was gone. So Melchizedek was an appearance. Just think of it like that. He disappeared, take tithes, and he left. And that was that. And then now he's still waiting to earn his chance to get back what he failed in getting the first time. And then on the cross, he did it up. He did it. You understand? No problem. Captain.
It's like you jog my memory about a question.
Mm-hmm.
And if you guys get to the first chapter, talking about regeneration, it starts off talking about how one generation comes, another generation has to replenish itself.
Yeah.
It talks about the circuits of the wind and how, basically there's nothing new under the sun.
Yeah.
In the cycle in regeneration, like the generation, is there like an amount or set as it recycles?
An amount or set what?
Number, generations that pass?
Before what happened?
Before it starts moving. Before, every generation is something you have seen. Is it recycling in like an order?
Okay, it is an order. That order is based on natural lifespan. You ever watch an old black and white TV show ever?
No.
Or a TV show? This is how, when I began to notice since I was young in school. There was a time I began to look at an old show I would watch as a kid. Right now, I watch it later on in life. And there was a time when I would look at this show and everyone on this show is dead. Like they'll just do that one time. Just turn something on and you'll look and go, well, that person is dead. That person is dead. That the people, the credits rounding up of the cameraman, they're dead. That's the generation passing. Like the time, there's a natural lifespan of people. When you can confidently say, well, no one is alive from when that happened. They're all gone. That's a generation. You understand? So go ahead. Come on.
I'm sorry. I guess I meant more so as far as like that generation passes.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess as far as coming back.
You mean when do you come back after you die?
Right, like is that set in those generations?
No. When you come back, you will be as the angels of God. You will come back when he wants you to. You might come back, as soon as your son has your grandchild. Or you might wait 2 generations. Right? You're coming back, but when you come back, everything about your new life is up to him. Everything. You're doing what you can do to set yourself up in the best situation you can in your next life. You want to come back in the truth, so you better be in the truth now. You want to serve Christ, so you better serve him now. Right? You're doing what you can. After that, it's up to the Most High. He decides how you come back and who you're going to and when you were born. Time is always something that is up to the Most High. Time is not math like the Romans. The Romans had that concept of time like, this much time, that much time, that's it. Right? The Most High is not like that. And guess what? One day unto him is like 1,000 years. So whenever, he'll just handle you the way he sees fit. Usually it will be more time than you can handle. You get my point? Because a day to him is like 1,000 years to you. You understand? Up front. 1 second in the back, boy. Since he has a microphone, let him do it first, all right? Then you can get it next. Go ahead,
Jeremiah 44, verse 17. It says the queen of heaven. Now, during this time, would there be like a woman who has house heads?
The queen of heaven is talking about Esther. Esther was the queen of heaven. She was the chief female. I believe, if I'm thinking about the precept you're referring to, you can read it takes to remind me.
Okay, Jeremiah 44, verse 17. Mm-hmm. We will certainly do whatsoever things go forth out of our own mouth to burn incense to the queen of heaven.
Yeah, that's Esther. You can see pictures of her. The brothers can get it. She got all these breasts all over, breasts everywhere. Right? That's the Esther, which is where you get Easter from. All right, from worshiping that God, she was just a very famous god to the Babylonians. The Greeks had their own god. I forget the name of the Greek gods. Athena. Athena was a super famous, Greek woman god. Esther is older than Athena, and that's who that's talking about. Go ahead, Warren.
So that Esther is Easter.
Yes, that is the god of Easter, Esther or Estar. So Ishtar, the same person. You got it, Warren.
Oh, no, sir. So it's kind of in conjunction with Captain Carter's question. So when Christ would talk to the Pharisees, or he would talk to the Israelites at his time, and he would reference he would say generation of vipers, or this wicked generation of people, and he would cite the blood of Abel, Zacharias, who you choose, and also is he labeling them as a generation that returned from doing wickedness from another generation and has come back?
Yes.
He's identifying them spiritually, or is it?
I don't think he's identifying spiritually. He's identifying them by their actions. Right? It's not magic. Like the people who hated Christ in the past hate him now. The actions tell you who they are. Right? The Sadducee and Pharisee are the Christians of today, not because of my magic power, but because of what they do. They do the exact same thing that the Sadducee and Pharisee did. And they hate us for the exact same reason that the Sadducee and Pharisee hated Christ. Let me see if we can get this. I don't believe you can. Why did the Sadducee and Pharisee, one, kill Christ? Why did they hate him? Why were they against him? As you know, they're the ones that lied about Christ to the Romans and convinced Pontius Pilate to kill Christ. All I want to know now is why did they hate him? Young brother right here in the middle.
Because it's going to take a place from that, take them out of power.
No, I know why you said it, but you're not getting to the heart of it by saying that. Young brother in the back.
They will lose their seat with the Romans.
Why would they lose their seat with the Romans?
Because everybody would stop following after them.
Okay, everyone would stop following them, and then the people would start following who?
Right.
And then what would the Romans do? That's what you need right here. You got it. You got your hand up. Go ahead.
I was going to say what the brother said, but kind of go with the direction you're going. I would think how the white man is, they would revolt. They would unalive people.
Why would they unalive people?
Because they feel like they can't be power, then they take everybody down.
So then the Sadducee and Pharisee hated Christ because they knew that white people did not want Christ to be in charge of black people. That's in the Bible. That's Matthew 11 chapter. They said if we leave this man thus alone, all men will believe on him. Then the Romans will come take away our place and our nation. They knew they hated him because they knew how white people would feel about him. Why do the Christians hate you? You're telling them Jesus is black. They're black. You're telling them that the Hispanics are the chosen people of God. Guess what? They hate us for saying that. A brother called me from California yesterday, him and his wife. And she's from Guatemala. And they were telling me how their father hates us because we say that the Guatemalans are the chosen people of God. They said, how can a Mexican be a Jew and a Mexican? That's stupid. The brothers is a Mexican. The sister's a Guatemalan. They're going to hate you for saying that Jesus is not white. A black person will hate you for that. Brother, when I was young in the truth, this used to keep me up at night with such Judean anger. I was so mad about this. Because I would go out in the street corner and someone would kick the sign of Jesus being black. And guess who would do it every time? Guess who never did it? Never. Not once in my career since 1995. It has never happened. You know how many times a black person has kicked that sign? How many times have I heard Jesus Christ say no nigger? Guess who? I have never heard that ever from a white man. I have not been in that battle. I have only been in that battle with the same people I'm talking about. They hate us because they know white people are not going to like this type of talk. Because we're troublemakers. You understand? Because we are making white people upset. White people are not going to like this. They killed him over that. They didn't kill him because they didn't like his message. His message uplifted them. His message empowered the Jews. But they knew white people was not going to like that type of talk. And if white people hear that people are following him, white people are going to come and kill us all and get rid of us. So that fear made them say, we got to kill him first. Because if black people start following him, white people are going to kill black people. That's why they killed him. Now, ask yourself, why do they hate you? Why does a black person hate Jesus being black? How could he even hate you? I mean, if I tell you that the person who invented the stoplight was black, who fights you over that? No one. If I say that the first person that invented open heart surgery is black, will anyone fight you and throw rocks at you and call the police on you? No one will do that. So if I say Jesus is black, why do you fight me? Why does that make you angry? Oh, because you know white people say Jesus is white. You know that affects white supremacy. And you know as a Christian, your number one job is to put black people under the foot of white people for safety. Right. For safety. Because then they won't get rich. Keep them singing. Keep them singing. Because then they won't die. Their houses won't get burned down. Well, if they follow these crazy cult leaders, then now they're not safe anymore. And now they hate us. What they don't know is that we're here by the power of God, just like our King. And our mission can't be stopped. What they don't know is we've done this before. We've been here before and risked our lives before. And we're going to do it again. I pray you understand. We're going to do it again. So we will be fighting forever. It will never stop because you will never stop hating the disciples of Christ, and we will never stop uplifting the kingdom of Christ. Everybody, I pray you do. All right, I think that's it. Any questions online? Any questions out of headquarters? Is Asher there? No, I got across the line. What we doing across the line?
They're going to be running it from back then. I was going to join on my phone.
Okay, let me know what I need to do to help. All right, go ahead.
We got one question. Sir, Officer Baraki, Isupk, all the nominations. I have a breakdown of Revelation chapter 21, verse 1. What is the seed referring to in verse 1?
What is the seed referring to in verse 1? Go ahead.
Okay. Revelation chapter 21, verse 1. And I saw a new heaven and a new earth.
Mm-hmm.
For the first heaven and the first earth were passed away.
The first heaven is speaking about white supremacy. That's heaven. That's the heights. aspiration. One day I might get a white woman, live in a white neighborhood, drive a car that only white people can afford, send my kids to a white school. That's heaven. That's your whole dream. Does it ever bother you that your dream is something that white people just get naturally? That don't bother you at all? That bothers me. It bothers me. If my dream is having sex with a white woman, white men do that all the time. Like, it's not a dream. It's just, normal since they were 15 years old. But that's my dream to get a white woman. My dream is to live in a white neighborhood. People live there all the time. But white people, that's where they grow up and live and sleep and go to school every day. But that's my dream to do that. That's my aspiration in life. That is sad. That's pitiful. And how do you think white people look at you when your entire existence is set around being closer to them? It must make them feel such, pride. You must feel a lot of pride knowing that. Your dream is to live next to me. That's your dream. That's all you want in life, to live next to me. Maybe I'll let you live next to me. Maybe I won't. I'll have to decide whether or not I'll let your dreams come true. That's the heaven today. What's the earth today? The ghetto, the body of the reservation. That's where nobody wants to be. Have you seen life on that reservation? Whew. Ask Captain Debar Moth about it, brother. And the brothers down there, the Gadak warriors down there, brother. That's a terrible place to live. It's a hopeless place. You see what's happening in Palestine? You hear this week? This week, the Israelis, there was a group of 9 people that were coming to bring food to the Palestinians. They called the Israeli military and said, "Listen, we're dropping off food. Pancakes and waffles and grits and oatmeal and a few chickens over here." The Israeli military said, "No sweat, drop them off." They called when they were on the way. They worked it out weeks ahead of time. They called as they were driving there. When they got there, the Israelis bombed them and killed every last one of them. When they were coordinating the food giveaway, the owner of the food program, I forget this cat named Torres, in Spaniard, he came out in the news today and said they knew we were coming. We were talking to them the whole time. They killed my volunteers on purpose. That's what this cat said today on the news. I wish you could find his name. Some Spaniard. He's a chef. He said they killed them on purpose because they knew they had to make an example of someone trying to feed the Palestinians. So they had to kill them. So they wanted them to go, told them to go, told them it was safe to go just to kill them. Why? Jose Andreas. You can find his video. You hear what he said. Find it for me first. See if you can put it up on the screen. He said it was done on purpose. Now, people, of course, are. Hold your point 1 second, Warrior, in the back. He said, this was done on purpose. You might not understand why they would do this on purpose. I absolutely understand why. And if we can have the video, I'll break it down afterwards. All right. Uno más, Warrior. One more, right? Go ahead. Please. Which is what? What is C? That's his question. Okay, stop. What was the first part of his question?
You want to break down the verse more, but specifically, what is it?
Well, okay, go ahead and read that fast.
From the top. Heaven and the new earth. The first heaven and the first earth were passed away, and there was no more sea.
Okay, the sea is talking about the masses of people. That's what a sea is, like a sea. Think of a sporting event and people waving their hands. There's so many of them. That's a sea. The Bible also says that the dead will be spit out of that sea, right? That they're coming out of that sea, right? The sea is talking about how masses of people agree on a thing. There's going to be no more sea. There's going to be division now. When there was a time where everyone agreed that Jesus was white. There was no controversy about it in any way. Everyone knew he was white, and that's that. Everyone believed in Christmas. That's all. It's the birthday of the baby Jesus, and we'll discuss this no further. And that was how things were. And everyone remembers that time if you're old enough. There was no controversy. Everyone thought that Hispanics and black people were two separate races. That was accepted in the same prison, in the same ghetto. You're sitting all there thinking, I'm not the same as you. You're not the same as me. We're all in the welfare line together, going down there together in the welfare line. But we're totally, separate. Totally different people. Those things were accepted, not anymore. You understand? That seed is no longer here. It's going to be a new heaven and a new earth. There's coming a time, and we're building it, the UPK and the commanding general honor, when the idea of a future that is blessed is an idea where blacks and Hispanics rule the world. That's the new heaven. And the new earth is going to be white society. That's going to be the bottom, the dirt. Everybody understand? Right. That's what the C is, Warrior. You got me? We don't have the Jose Andres thing, do we?
The video, I don't have.
No problem. It's all over the place. You can check it out on your phones, all right? Okay, go ahead and read it. Does it say what I just said?
It says that.
Okay, we'll go ahead and read it from where you think you should.
This is the RollingStone.com. Conducted an interview with the founder, Jose Andres.
Mm-hmm. You need a minute up? Someone grab me some more ice, please. I can give me some more tonic water if you don't mind, too, Warrior. I appreciate it. Any other questions in the room? In the back, you got it while we waiting. Someone pass the mic down there too. Or you can come up, either one up. Your brother right here, come on up. Good. Come on up.
Jose Andres said, "This is not bad luck."
This is the owner of the food program to try to feed the Palestinians that day. He said, "This is not bad luck." Go ahead.
Situation where, oops, we dropped the bomb in the wrong place.
This is not a mistake that the Israelis made. You go.
Andres said, even if we were not in coordination with the Israeli Defense Force,
even if we were not in coordination, meaning they were coordinating this food giveaway with the Israeli Defense Force. Go ahead.
No democratic country and no military can be targeting civilians and humanitarians.
No one can be targeting civilians and humanitarians. Everyone remember that statement, all right? Go ahead.
The article continues and says, the Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has acknowledged the workers were killed by an Israeli airstrike.
Give me it was done systematically. Let me help you out, young warrior. You see that seat right there?
Yes, sir.
That seat, that's close enough. You can be closer to the microphone so I can get your questions answered fast. Just sit close. No, right here, warrior. Right there, on the inside. Right behind the brother with the last brother. Right there. Siéntate, right there, warrior. Go ahead. Where we at? Go ahead, keep going up.
I'm right here.
You just said it just now. It was this Spaniard said it was done systematically. That's important to realize too. He knows they did it on purpose. He told them to come so that they could kill them. The system needed them to die because they needed someone to be killed for giving food to the Palestinians. Now, in his mind, of course, no one would ever target civilians. He might be unaware of something, right? But what is he unaware of? Huh?
I got where.
Oh, please. Go ahead.
This is World Central Kitchen founder Jose Andres said in an interview with Reuters on Wednesday that the 7 World Central Kitchen workers who were killed by an Israeli strike while delivering aid to Gaza earlier this week were targeted, quote, systematically car by car.
Meaning the missiles knew they were coming, knew who they were, and shot each car, blew up each car. They don't understand why. I do, because I'm a nigger in America. I know that you must target civilians. You got to kill children. You have to kill women. You have to burn down churches and burn down houses. I know you have to kill people on the reservation. I know you have to slaughter Mexicans. You have to unalive thousands of children and unarmed people. Why? So that after 10 generations, mothers will tell their sons, don't you ever come against them. Don't you ever challenge a white person. You go to church and you sing. Don't you ever open your mouth. Don't you ever stand out. What the Israelis are doing to the Palestinians is what happened to you. And in the end, those Palestinians will all believe that Moses was Jewish. Moses is their God. The Jewish people are the chosen people of God. We are all just Gentiles trying to worship the Jewish God. They'll become niggers and spicks. Their mothers will train them to never have courage. Love will dictate that you can never stand up, you can never speak out. If you love your sons, you'll teach them to be cowards. You can't do that by just fighting, the warriors. You got to kill the innocent for that to happen. To scare mothers, to scare children, to scare people that might stand up later. How do I know it's true? Because I've been to the reservation. I've been to black communities where they're so devastated and so sad and so miserable. And their love for the white Jesus is powerfully passionate at the same time. At the same time, they are passionate about the superiority of white people. You go to the reservations, they are passionate about it. Hispanics, forget about it. The Catholic Church, brother, you could molest every Hispanic in the Catholic Church. They will never turn from that priest, ever. That's it. That priest can't do anything wrong. They love him. They adore him. And they will never teach their children to not be Catholic, no matter what that priest does. That priest molests them, or you know what they'll say? Well, it happens sometimes, Sometimes things like that go on. The black Christians do the same thing. Why? Because 10 generations ago, we were taught a lesson. They're trying to teach the Palestinians that same lesson right now. Right. Go ahead.
We have the video where the founder says that.
Please.
What I know is that we were targeted deliberately. Non-stop until everybody was dead in this convoy. This happened over more than 1.5, 1.8 kilometers. So this was not just a bad luck situation where
everyone in the room,
we dropped the bomb in the wrong place.
Give them the video so they can watch it on their own, all right? That's what the cat is saying, what I just said. How is oppression ever going to stop unless blacks and Hispanics are delivered of it? If blacks and Hispanics stay in this condition, every oppressor around the world will learn that oppression works. Oppression works. If everyone looks at you and they go, oh yeah, if we kill enough of them and kill their children and kill their women, they'll behave. They'll make us Jesus. They'll make us their God. We have to stand up to oppression for the world to be free. And all flesh is dependent upon us. The Bible says that the hand of man is in betwixt the hand and the heel. Our struggle that we have with our oppressor, all mankind is resting in that struggle. If blacks and Hispanics never stand up to white oppression, then white oppression will rule every place on the planet because it is a proven cure. It works. It absolutely works. The Germans knew it worked against Jewish people because of what happened to the North American Indians. And of course, the Jewish people know that it will work against the Palestinians because it worked against the Hispanics. And it works against the North American Indian. All mankind will be free once we're free. Every race will be blessed because we fought oppression and won. Everyone understands. All right. Young warrior right here. You want to give it up? Go ahead, Al. Please. Go ahead, Al.
My question was, come, like you just mentioned right now,
Mm-hmm.
I come across Hispanics, blacks,
Mm-hmm.
Native Americans.
Mm-hmm.
Why can't we fight?
You
They
said,
do it, but they do it to us.
yeah.
Why can't we?
When you say fight, what do you mean?
You know what I mean.
Say what you mean.
I'll say what I mean.
Say what you mean.
Right. What they do to us,
Uh-huh.
as far as murdering, taking over our lands,
Mm-hmm.
taking over our
Mm-hmm.
and indoctrination, and
Yeah.
psychology, all those things.
I got you.
How come we can't do it for them?
All right, precept. Captain, brothers will give it to you right now, all right? I'll take that, but give me the first one. That's good. You're going to get that one on deck real fast. Well, that's another excellent one. Give me another one. Everyone just hold those on deck. That's another excellent one. Just hold that one. Not quite. Not quite. I'll explain it. That's not a precept for this, but there's a couple more. Young warrior right here. That's another good precept. It's all given the same. Young brother right here with the red headpiece.
Whoever takes business on hand.
That's another excellent. All those are on the same topic. Not. I think someone brought that out just now. I think you're missing the last one. When Jesus Christ was on the earth, right? Someone find this for him to start off with this, all right? Jesus Christ was on the earth, and the Sadducee and Pharisee came to arrest him, to take him. Peter had a sword that Jesus Christ told him to buy. Jesus Christ said, sell your garment and buy a sword. He was armed. The Sadducee and Pharisee came to arrest Christ. Peter pulled out his sword and cut off the ear of one of the police officers, the officers of the Sadducee that tried to arrest Christ. Peter, then Christ rejected Peter, picked up the ear off the ground, and put it back on the Pharisee. And the ear was healed. Then Jesus Christ had his trial. He said, if this was our kingdom, my disciples would fight. Knowest thou not that I could call 12,000 angels from my Father which is in heaven, and they would come and deliver me? Here's the key out to fighting the white man with physical violence, right? This battle will not be won with your strength. No one will ever think that this battle was won because we had more guns. We killed more people. This battle will be won because we are the people of God, and God will fight for us. Hey, don't you understand, Malcolm? A miracle is going to win this battle. A miracle. We're not going to win this battle the way the Palestinians win a war, or the Germans or the Irish win a war. Supernatural powers from heaven are going to fight for us. This is not our kingdom. If it was, we could kill them all. If this was our place, what difference would it make? We don't have courage. Lord knows we have guns. I'm here in Texas with y'all. I assume this is an actual gun right here. I'm not gonna touch it, so it doesn't go off. Okay, Lord knows we have guns in here. I went out shooting with Yatizak and Malakoff in them. I've never seen an actual machine gun, like an actual. I said, well, damn. I guess you got everything, all right? Lord knows we're armed, just like Peter was armed. But this is not our kingdom. You think we fight the way the Israelis fight, the way the Palestinians fight, the way the mafia fights? We don't fight like them, man. The Father is our protection. And when we win this war, no one will say at the end, we can get more weapons and defeat the Israelites. Right. We can organize and defeat the Israelites. People will say, it is impossible to defeat the Israelites because God is their protector. Right. There's no way to defeat them. There's no way. The officers gave you precepts just now All those are precepts. You can give the young warrior precepts when we're done. Let me just give you one that can help you. Give me Revelations 2:9, patience and faith. That's what you need. All right. Is that patience and faith? That's the one it is. That's the one it is. If you get it, let me. Go ahead, warrior.
The book of Revelations. It's the book of Revelation, 9 verse 10. Right?
Is that right, Akim?
Come, sir.
13. Verse 13. And the sixth angel sounded. 13. Revelation 13 and 10. Like Revelation 13. Verse 9. If any man have ear, let him hear. Verse 10.
You got it.
He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity.
Read it one more time.
God. Verse 10. He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword.
If anyone has an ear, let him hear. He that leadeth into captivity must go into captivity. If you put someone in slavery and bondage, the way the Hispanics and the so-called Negro, Haitians, the West Indians were put in slavery, and you have to go into slavery because that's fair, young man. That's justice. You put someone in slavery, you have to go in slavery. Keep going. Read after. If you lead into captivity, you must go into captivity. Go ahead.
Here is the patience and the faith of the saints.
Here is the what?
The patience.
Here is the what?
The patience.
Here is the patience. Patience. Let me tell you something, brother. When the white man is gone, and when you're in charge, what qualities do you have to rule the world? You better think about that. Because if you're an alcoholic, you can't rule the world. It's impossible. How are you going to rule the world? How will you decide the price of wheat in Australia? How will you govern Africa? How will you govern the world markets and the world trade? You're a drunk and an alcoholic, and you are addicted to a weed. What are you going to do? Rule the planet? You're a joke. You need certain qualities if you're going to get rid of white people. You hate white people, right? Lord knows I do. Yeah, you know what I do like though? Water coming out my faucet. You like that? Y'all like that? I like it. The white man's the devil. The water is water. I took a nice shower before I came here. The water was on. White man's the devil. What's the hot man? Look at the AC. Get the AC crispy down there. Where do you like your AC at? Oh, you like it? Go ahead, y'all just out. 60. The white man's the devil. Get it nice and cool in here. AC. You like a little cook your food with a little gas coming out your oven or a little electricity? Like to turn those lights on. White man's the devil. Just turn the lights on here. Get some of this, like a little music. You like that car, don't you? You like that car. See, the white man is evil, but he keeps the trains running. You understand? The lights are on. The electricity is on. Oh, you like supermarkets? The white man's the devil. What am I going to eat tonight? Pizza, Chinese, barbecue. Let me see. Let me go into my phone, type in food, and get whatever the hell I want. The white man's the devil. He's evil as hell. I think we'll have what are we gonna have tonight? Barbecue? I think we're having that. See, someone will need to rule if he's not here. You're an alcoholic and smoke weed all day. Are you gonna keep the water running? Not in the state you're in. You can't do it. But if you learn patience, you might be able to keep the water on when white people are gone. If you learn some quality, if you learn some discipline, maybe we all can depend on you for our food, for our supermarkets, for our children to be safe. Maybe we all can look to you to make sure that the lights stay on. Until then, you better learn some patience up. For this is the patience and the what?
This is the patience and the faith.
And the what?
The faith.
And the what?
The faith.
You see, you're going to have to learn patience to wait for white people to go into slavery, to wait for white people to pay for what they've done to you.
Right.
You're going to have to learn patience to get it. And you're going to have something else that you don't have right now, faith. You're going to have to believe in the faith, warrior.
That's right.
See, the other nations, they don't need faith because their kingdoms are of this world.
Right.
But if this was my world, our disciples would fight. But my disciples are not of this world, so they don't fight. Because my disciples are supernatural. They're the most patient, the most faithful, the most diligent, the most loyal servants of God. And that's why there will come a time when our patience and faith will be paid off. Everyone understands. All right, now you can sit wherever you want now, Warrior. I want you to come up if you have more questions. Gracias. Go ahead.
So like I said, we got one question online from Triple Kamar by from Houston, Texas.
You got it, Warrior.
Yes, my name, Baba Kashan. Get a breakdown of Romans chapter 1, verse 13, specifically what it means not only do the same, but have pleasure in it that do them.
All right, go ahead.
Romans chapter 1, verse 32. Knowing the judgment of God, that they which commit such things are worthy of death, not only do the same, but have pleasure in them that do.
Yeah, not only do they do it, what's the thing they do? Can you read above it?
Looks like verse 29. Romans chapter 1, verse 29. Being filled with all unrighteousness, fornication, wickedness, covetousness, maliciousness, full of envy, murder, hate, deceit.
I need to break all these down. Just these are the things you got to avoid when you're a priest. When you're a sister in the school. You can't be like them. You got to be better than them. You got to have something that the Christians will never require of you. You're going to have some morality.
Right.
You cannot be in the school and be immoral. Right. And so many of you, because you grew up Christian and because you had so many sexual traumas when you're young, you don't believe in morals. Now, you believe in looking like you're righteous, but you don't believe in actually having morals. And without it, your work is in vain. Without it, everything you're doing means nothing because all you care about is looking like you're a preacher or like you're righteous, and that does not work in here. In here, you have to actually be sincere. You got to be for real because our God sees what you do in silence, sees what you do in the quiet of your home. And he's not going to give you a reward because you're a hypocrite. And here it matters what you actually do when you're alone, when no one sees it. Read it again. Come.
Knowing the judgment of God, that they which commit such things are.
No, read it from what you just read.
Verse 29. Being filled with all unrighteousness, fornication.
Fornication, what is that? Unlawful sex. That's fornication. A woman being a whore. A woman having sex with a man who is not her man. There's a tremendous amount of pressure for a woman to cheat on you. She needs the attention. She's an attention whore first. She needs people to look at her, to give her compliments. All she is a physical body that needs the attention of men. She's nothing else. She has to be a thing that men give attention to. So because of that, she's doing a whore on you. Because all she is her body. She's nothing else but a vessel. That's it. Well, fornication means that you can't make the kingdom of heaven. When I say that, I mean you cannot rule the world alongside your husband. You can't do it. You're disgusting. All you are is breast and a butt, which means you should be unalived here. This is your kingdom, this place. If you're a brother, then what does that mean? You're having sex with other nations. You're having sex with prostitutes. You're having sex with married women. You're disgusting and vile. And you can't make the kingdom. You can't rule any place. You need to be ruled. Keep going. Keep going.
Fornication, wickedness.
Wickedness, you know what that is. It's sin. It's overall sinfulness. You break the commandments of God, and of course you excuse that in yourself. You're not beat up in your conscience by what in the hell you're doing every day. You give yourself allowances to be evil. You say, hey, everybody makes mistakes. You know, I'm not perfect. That's what the Christians have taught you. They've taught you to have no morals at all. And here you have to have morals or you have to go. We're not going to be a place filled with child molesters. We're not going to be a place filled with sexual deviants. What in the hell do we need it for? We don't. We do not. Keep going.
What
does it mean to covet? Someone that is always attempting to take something from someone else. All they think about and plot on, taking something from someone else. Keep going.
Maliciousness.
To be evil forethought is maliciousness. In your mind, all you're thinking about is who you can hurt, who you can abuse, because you're so angry and so mad about something in your stupid life. Your life that up to this point has been absolutely meaningless. And you have a chance to make something of your life, but you can't. Because, you know, you got such evil thoughts in your mind about who you hate and who cares? Who cares about what is in your stupid mind that you think every offense that happened to you is the biggest one? The people you hurt mean nothing to you. But the people that hurt you, they should die. They're just the evilest person in the world. You're a disgusting piece of garbage. And I've made a career out of running you out of school. Please believe it. That's the only thing I really do. Brothers call me sometime and they say, hey, this brother you kicked out of school last year, he wants to come back. And inevitably, let me say this publicly so you don't have to call me about this anymore. It is not my job to let people back in the school. It's my job to kick them out. So you can let whoever you want back in the school. I don't care. You always call me and say, you kick them out. The brother wants to come back. The sister wants to come. I don't give a F. I don't care if she comes back or he comes. I'm not even going to see it ever. So why do I care? If you let some brother back in the school, I kicked out. My job is to kick people out the school. Now, if you're a camp leader, your job is to decide whether or not you let him back in. Just know when I look up and find out he's back in the school and he's done it again, I'm going to say, with my mind, who let him back in? And you'll have to stand up and say you did. So listen, you're a grown man. You're not a baby anymore. If you're a camp leader, you're grown. I have to assume you're grown. Now, if you're young in the truth, you're not grown. You don't make these kind of decisions. But if you're a camp leader, you're going to decide whether or not their repentance is sincere. And if you think they're sincere, you're called. You don't have to even check with me about it. Everyone understands. All right? But when it's time to kick them out, give me a call. All right? Everybody gets it. Go ahead. Next. Up front, warrior.
Well, cool, sir. I could break down John the 20th chapter, verse 17. It says, Yahweh said to her, touch me not, I am not yet as serious my father.
I'm with you. What's your question about it?
The first question is, why is he saying to her, touch him not? Fortune today. Second question is, he's not saying he was walking out, he died. Where was he?
Okay, when Christ came out of the tomb, he left out of the tomb. He went after a certain time. He went to the Father. The Bible says in Revelation that he came before the Father as a lamb slain. That's in the book of Revelations, I believe, the 4th chapter. Meaning he was stabbed. Just think if you kill it. This year we're going to have the slaughter of the lamb. You get a good visualization of that. When we cut the throats of so many lambs out there. Sisters, you're not going to be able to handle this. This is a rough one. Don't worry about it. You're down with it. You see it. You did it yourself. Well, all right then. He's in. Give her a hand. All right. Some women can't handle the screaming. That lamb screams like, he knows what's happening. Okay. But that's where meat comes from, young man. Meat comes from that scream. You understand? So Christ went before the Father as a lamb slain, meaning bloody and stabbed. Remember, he was stabbed in the side by the Romans to hasten his death. All right? He went before the Father in his physical body that was bloody and that was decaying, that was a body. Remember when he met Thomas, what happened? Thomas didn't believe it was him. Thomas said, look forth, and he showed Thomas the wounds in his wrist and the wound in his side. He could not be touched in that state because he was in an actual body that was decaying. You understand? But the Lord will not suffer his Holy One to be, what's the word it uses? To be corrupted, to see corruption. The Most High ain't having that. But what did he do? Change his body when he went before the Father. So he came out of the tomb alive, but in the same bruised and beaten body. You understand? So imagine he gets up, he's up, but there's wounds in his hand, blood all over him, stabbed in the side. He makes appearances to people. Mary saw him, his sister saw him first. But he said, don't touch me because I have not ascended to my Father. When he ascended to the Father, he came before the Most High, bloody and bruised just like he was. And the Most High cleansed him. Now he has red eyes and white hair and dark skin and taller than anybody else. So just think he's alive, but the wounds and the pain and the everything is still there until he went before the Father to show the Father the evidence of his obedience. You understand? Show the Father he did it. I did it. I did as you commanded. And the Most High changed his body. Just like he'll change your body in the twinkling of an eye in the sky. Everyone understand?
I don't want color.
In the back.
So like,
Go ahead.
Not to be simple enough.
No problem.
You said, Scripture says that they were the Lord is without end. So that means for them, they got crucified 2 days ago.
That means for who?
The Most High, you know what I'm saying, for leaving the everything. So that means that it was for them 2 days ago.
For them, it was like 2 days ago. For them, it was not 2 days ago, because that's not how time works with blacks and Hispanics or the Most High. The Bible says one day is, no, it doesn't say 1 year is 1,000 years. It says as 1,000, like 1,000 years. You understand? That's what you got to get. The as is what you need to understand time. The Romans understood 1 equals this. The Romans and the Egyptians and the Muslims instituted 0. To have that's 0. That's nothing. But they instituted the 0 because really their numbers are for banking. You understand? They needed a -1. So you have to have a 0 to have -1. You need a 0 to know when you owe money. So time with them is for money, for math. Time with the Lord is not like that. This is not for debt, to incur debt to people. It's as 1,000 years. So what does that mean? So to you, it's like, damn, this is taking forever. To them, it's like, what happened? That's it. That's what you want to think, right? It's not the way we think because we're raised by Romans. But think like time is a feeling. It's not structured, it's a feeling. So one day, you know how that feels, right? One day, you know how that feels? That's how 1,000 years feels to them. That's what as means, all right? Knock in the back.
Like saying Frank got a minute ago?
A minute ago. Yeah, a minute. A minute ago. A while. I ain't seen you in a while. It feels long. But it's not, it doesn't feel long to them. It doesn't feel long to the Most High. You better remember that because your time is not his time. What feels long to you does not feel long to him. That's the point, Curtis, all right? Go ahead.
So I started a question, but this real quick, when you were talking about how.
Let me just check on the line just to make sure I'm keeping up with them, all right? I'll get you as soon as I do that, all right? Anything online?
Colonel Collins, sir, we got one question from young man D. Salaki served with your grace. General breakdown.
Give him a hand. See? He has manners. Manners. You should learn manners. I know your mother and father didn't teach you them. They called you a nigger and a mother F all day. Your mother and your father, they cursed at you and taught you to be a damn gremlin. But it's important one day to learn manners if you're going to rule the world. Well done, young man. Go ahead. What's his question?
Colonel Collins, sir. May I have a general breakdown on Revelations chapter 22, verse 11.
You got it.
Revelation chapter 22, verse 11. He that is unjust, let him be unjust still. And he which is filthy, let him be filthy still.
This is one of Commander Corleone's precepts. I always remember when he taught me this when I was 5,000, I think. You know what? Whatever you are, stay that way. No sweat. That's how you want to be? Stay that way. We're going to find out in the end who's right and who's wrong. So read it from the top.
He that is unjust.
Are you unjust? Are you unfair? Are you cruel? A lot of you sisters, you're cruel to your husband. You're absolutely cruel to him because you know he loves you and he loves your children. Some of the worst mistakes a man has made is to let an evil woman know that he loves those kids. That's a mistake. I'm fine with it. That's a mistake that many men make, especially you stepfathers. You stepfathers are the champions of love because you go and teach this woman that you love her children. You love them. You play with them and you call you daddy and you attach yourselves to these kids. And brother, as you're playing with these children, she is watching you love these children that are not yours. And you feel like you're making up for the mistake of your father, don't you? Because you're taking these children, you're loving these kids. And then one day that bitch is going to say, you don't come over here anymore. Yep. These are not your kids. You can't come over, you can't see them. And you know what you'll say? I love those kids like they were my own. I taught them this. I taught them that. And you never knew that the whole time she was just making you love these children to strip them from you one day. You're a hero to even love children that are not yours. You're a hero. You should be celebrated every day because a lot of you, some bitch in the world is going to say, it's over. And you're going to go, it's over? What do you mean? Well, the kids call me daddy. I play with the children there. I taught them to read. I take them to school. I watch them every day. It's over. You're going to be thinking to yourself, how could it be over when they call me daddy? Easy, dummy. Easy, it's over. Because she said it was. Because they're not your children. Do you understand? You are a champion of love. You should be celebrated. Some of you brothers, you're extremely cruel to your wife. You know why? Because you know you can have another woman. And because of that, you will have sex with sluts you meet on the internet. With women who are going to give her HIV. You're going to give your woman HIV. And you know what you'll say? A man can have another woman. I'm a man. And these niggas ain't no man gonna tell me what I can do in my house. So I'm having sex with some slut I met online. I drag her into the house, have sex with her. And you know what I do? I say, well, woman, you can't say anything about this because a man can have another woman. The Bible says this, let not your liberty cause you to have an occasion to the flesh. So now because you're free now from your past, free from this world, can you have sex with any slut you meet online? You're going to give your wife HIV. That is what is going to happen. You already gave her trichinosis and chlamydia already. Already. You know, every time you gave her chlamydia, it could have been HIV. Why? Why do you do it? Because a man can have more than one wife. So that means I met this woman on Instagram. I lied to her and told her that car was mine when it was not. I lied to her. She needed a place to stay. So now I'm having sex with her, and my wife can't say anything about it because he can have another wife. You're extremely cruel to your wife, and God is going to judge on her side against you. It's going to happen because your right to have another wife does not give you the right to be cruel and irresponsible. That is not the same thing. You have a LYL shot. Don't you understand, Tommy? Think about all the other rights you have. Responsibility comes with rights. Responsibility. You have to think about it. Since you're the one that decides, you have a right to do it. You're taking responsibility for the decision. And guess what? She pays for your mistake. So now you married some bitch that's going to call her job every day. It's going to stalk her on Facebook and Instagram. It's going to embarrass her. Now you made this decision that affects everyone's life, especially hers. You have the power to do it, and you are too stupid to have power. And God will judge on her side. I pray you understand. Keep going.
He which is filthy, let him filthy.
But you know what? Who listens to me? Damn sure don't. You do whatever. You're like a preacher or some Christian. It just is sinful and disgusting. Keep being like that. Don't sweat. You got it. Stay like that. Don't change. Stay how you are. Keep going.
And he that is righteous, let him be righteous still.
And the rest of us are going to stay how we are. And we're going to be responsible with our liberty. And our daughters are going to be kind and just and loyal to the person they give their body to. We're going to stay righteous. You are going to stay wicked, and we're going to stay righteous. No problem. We'll find out in the end. Thanks. Keep going.
And he that is holy, let him be holy still.
Keep going.
Verse 12. And behold, I come quickly, and my reward is with me. To give everything according as his work shall be.
And behold, as you're staying wicked and they're staying righteous, he's coming fast, quickly. Before you know it, he'll be here, and his reward will be with him. And he'll give you the reward for being wicked, and he'll give the righteous the reward for being righteous. So just keep doing what you're doing. No sweat. No problem. Everybody understands, I pray. Next. Let's get into the solar eclipse. Clap it up one time. All right. Now, first, y'all gotta break this down for me because I have never heard of this before this week. Right? Is the solar eclipse a big thing to blacks and Hispanics down here? People don't give a damn about it or know anything about it. It's a white thing. All right, let's just move on then. I won't break it down. Then fine. Go ahead. Would you up front? You got it. The brothers told me that Eclipse Armageddon was about to happen down there. It was about to be Eclipse Mania down here. If it's not, then I'll move on to something else. Go ahead.
Yes, sir. Although it's more popular with white people, that is usually popular with black people still, because white people follow me.
That's how you. Let me just give you two precepts in case you need them. All right. Give me first Deuteronomy 4:19, then Luke 21 and 25. That should be enough for you, then. All right. Yeah, that should be fine. All right. Deuteronomy. What's the word asked for in Deuteronomy?
4:19.
Go ahead.
Deuteronomy chapter 4, verse 19. Unless thou lift up thine eyes unto heaven.
Less. What does less mean? Unless, meaning, if I don't do this, you will do that. So I'm doing this because if I don't, unless I do this, you will lift up your eyes unto heaven. Go ahead.
And when thou seest the sun.
When thou what?
Thou seest the sun.
And when you see the sun, go ahead.
And the moon.
And when you see the sun and the moon, which is what a solar eclipse is.
Right.
Looking up and seeing the sun and seeing the moon. Go ahead.
And the stars.
And the stars. That's all the other things they worship. the star of Venus. They love, the Muslims love the star they call Venus. You know, the IUIC, they worship the moon too, you know. I don't know if you heard about them down in Texas.
Right.
They wear all purple. And they love the moon, that big, beautiful full moon of romance. The IUIC are very romantic with each other, meaning the brothers in there. And they love the moon, a full moon of romance. They dance, ooh, they did it. And the IUIC. That moon is so romantic. Well, in the UPK, we don't worship the moon at all. All right? We use it for its purpose because the moon is there to serve us. We use it so we can go to Passover. Commander General Yohana, General Mayak, they know all the high holy days because they trace that moon, do the math on that thing, which I don't know a damn thing about. But they know about it. General Mayak and Commander General Yohana. And that's how we know when the Passover is every year. When is the Passover this year? April 20th, get the Passover. General Mayak knows when the Passover is because he understands the moon and the dates and the whole blah, 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 blah. He understands it. That's what the moon is for. It's not for you to worship it. And then, you know who's stupid? That Donald Trump. I wish you could find this video up. The last time the moon had some type of eclipse, right? Of course, they say you got to wear sunglasses because if you don't wear sunglasses, it hurts your eyes. Donald Trump, dumbass, went right outside and looked at that moon with no glasses on. Like, you ain't gonna tell me what to do. Like, Donald Trump is so stupid. Can you find that video of him staring at that thing with no glasses on, just so he could have said, nobody's gonna tell me I gotta wear sunglasses. I'm Donald Trump. He is stupid at this goddamn table. Well, people, you know, you got all kinds of worship about the sun and the moon. The Most High God knew you would do that, so he had to give rules so that you would not worship the sun or the moon, because he knew that's all you want to do. You want to look up at the sky and find your God in the sky because it's bright and shiny. And it doesn't tell you what to do. You don't want anybody to tell you what to do. Go ahead, up.
The stars.
Keep going.
Even all the hosts of heaven.
The host of heaven is about, you know, everything that you can see up in the night sky. That's the host of heaven. Keep going.
Should it be driven to worship them?
You should it be what?
Should it be driven?
Should it be driven? Should it be driven? That's that feeling in you. Feeling like the sun, the moon is in eclipse. Haley's coming. Look at the sun. Look at the moon. Look at the moon. You're driven to worship that thing. It's so big and shiny. It's so big and shiny. You can't help it. You're an idiot. Because you're stupid. And your stupidity, it taints me. I'm tainted by your stupidity. It makes me unclean. Wait, this is you. Play Donald Trump, right? This is you. Look at her. They said the news said, put the sunglasses on because it's going to hurt your eyes. Go ahead and play. This is you. You hate to be told what to do. Keep playing. I'm looking. I'm looking right at it. That's it up there. Look at her. She don't even look at him because he's so stupid. Somebody had to come and yell and tell him, put the damn glasses on, you dumbass. Stop being a contrarian. He just has to show that you are not going to tell me what to do. That's how you are. That's you. You ain't going to let no man tell you what to do. No, God forbid. Except for that man that's in the mirror. He tells you to do it. But no other bad, you know, whatever you think you are. I don't know. Anyway, you're stupid. I've been trying to get that point home. Is that clear? Am I making a point? All right, solid. I can move on from that. If the Most High didn't do this, you would just worship everything you see blinking in the sky. Other scripture I have.
So like I said, we use he that's all this made by
Did I say Luke? Yeah, where I said it was.
125. And there shall be signs in the sun.
Was that 25?
Okay.
Go ahead and read it.
Luke chapter 21, verse 5. And there shall be signs in the sun, and in the moon, and in the stars, and upon the earth the distress of nations.
Upon the earth what?
Distress of nations.
Let me tell you what happens. Because of these signs in the sky, everyone gets scared. They're terrified. They're terrified. That is the point. That's the point. Were these signs to another person who loves the Most High and who fears God, they would look at these things as things to serve us so that our crops can be planted at the right season, so that the seasons could be in order for our betterment. But these signs in the sky terrify the nations. And you're going to see so many people come into Austin, so many hippies and dummies and, all types of lunatics coming here and worship. A lot of these Christian groups think it's the foretelling of the end times because they're scared to death. And it makes a coward afraid because everything in his life is built upon his own fear of things that happen in the sky. That's his whole damn life. The things in his bedroom don't make him afraid. That's the things he should be afraid of. The things happening to his children, those things mean nothing to him. But the moon, that's a big turmoil in his life. Keep going.
With perplexity.
Perplexity means like complication. They're so terrified in the moon and the stars and the eclipses and what's going on with this comet. There was a group when I was younger, some group that all went and killed themselves because of Halley's Comet. I'll tell you, where's a picture of those people? If you can't show me them when they were all dead under those purple sheets. Heaven's Gate. Brother, that Halley's Comet came. This is it. We got to get into that comet. How we going to get in there, teacher? We got to kill ourselves. How else we going to get in there? They killed themselves, all of them, and then cover themselves up in purple sheets so that Jesus could come take away their purple bodies. All right, that's what you want to do. I mean, as far as me and my house, however, we don't worship Halley's Comet. Or I remember Halley's Comet up. I remember looking up at the sky, sitting in some building in D.C. that Commander General Yohana owned. Sitting out front, I looked up, I saw Halley's Comet. I said, "That's Halley's Comet." All right, what? Anything else? I remember seeing it. It was a long time ago. All right, moving on. Go ahead, Up.
I've been looking for the right angle to cut, I guess, non-believers. People who say they don't believe in the Most High, believe in the Bible, but they look at celestial bodies, solstices, eclipses, or just swirls in the sky, and they believe on that and draws them for a conclusion to a new, a different God. What's the cut to these people?
Okay, you find one, they're going to say, "Listen, I believe in what? Do they believe in the stars?"
I ran into a Trinidadian brother at the Slave recently, sir. He says he believes that women's wombs are portals to reincarnation, and so he worships women. When he said I asked him, of course, why do you naturally cutting around about how black holes are circular and fish swim circle and bodies are circle.
Women bodies are what? What is this?
The sperms and the eggs. I had to go deep for this.
I get you, but listen, I understand that. It's a free country. He can worship wherever he wants. So I would just say this. If a woman's vagina is a holy place, and it is where God comes from, then just don't have sex with it. Damn. It's holy. You gonna ask God? And he then anyone who is effing God does not believe in God. Who would F God? That's a holy place. Right? It's holy. If the place is holy, is his penis holy? What do you think he would say? If women's vagina is holy,
he would say it is not holy.
He would say his penis is not holy. Right. Then how dare you put your unclean, unholy penis into that hole of God? That woman is holy. Don't ever stick your ungodly penis in that God hole. And then I believe him. Now, however, if he does stick his unholy penis into that God hole, he does not really believe that a woman's vagina is God, because then he wouldn't do that to God. Let me tell you what you got to do with people, right? Always put them on the defense. Like too many times in the UPK, because what we believe in is strange to them, we're on the defense. We're the ones like, how can we prove this? How can we prove what we say? How can you prove what you say? You said it's God. You stick your unholy penis into that God hole? You don't believe in that. Let me ask you a question. How many God holes has he had in his life? Because if he has he stuck his penis in one God hole and then he never touches another? Because the woman is God. Does he have more than one God? No. I mean, if the woman is God, then she should be worshipped like a church. You wouldn't pee all over a church and put your semen all over church floors because you consider the place holy. Why would you put your semen in the God hole of a God woman? You should just give her flowers, I guess, and tend to her and have no sex with her at all, because you don't want to make her unclean, because this is the church. This is the temple. This is the holy place. So if he doesn't have sex with her, then he's sincere. If he does have sex with her, then he's a liar. And there's no reason for me to prove she's not God, because he doesn't think she's God either. I remember Polite. How does I remember this? There was some cat I used to battle to death and destroy. Carter, how do you feel that your enemies are languishing in prison? Tell everybody what you think about that for a second. Give him the microphone. How do you feel? Do you feel the vindication that I would imagine you would feel in your seat?
I would like to take a rock with you.
Let me tell you, Fatizah's enemies are going to die in jail. The people that speak evil of him don't speak to any of you anymore. That's a fact. That's not debatable. That's not a religious debate. That's God's decision. That happened. Please tell me.
It's definitely vindication of things. There's one thing that I do know. On a long enough timeline, every single one of our enemies.
Give him a hand. That's a fact. Well, Polite was another one that said the woman's hole is a God hole. And she's a God. But Polite didn't actually believe that, because he was having sex with about 5 of them and their daughters. So he didn't actually believe that women were God and the vagina is God, because he just had sex with them, threw away, and then had sex with them. So why battle with him about his belief when he doesn't believe in it either? Please. Microphone. Hold on, I heard you back there. Nature boy and Dollar Down. How'd I forget? I damn near forgot. Give him a hand. Give Dollar Down the microphone. Dollar Down, it seems like God stands with you. It seems like the Lord stands with you because your enemies don't get to say anything anymore. They don't get to make YouTube clips anymore. That nature boy who was your enemy, he doesn't get to make any more tapes. He doesn't get to make any more videos. How does that make you feel? Do you feel God's vindication because of the fact that your enemies aren't anybody's enemies any longer? Please.
Sir, because they teach it, like you said, they can't teach it no more. So that's what that Bible is saying.
That's give him a hand. That's something. Yeah. Let me tell you, isn't it beautiful to have the debate end? I live for that moment. I live for this is what I want with the IUIC, who I can't stand. You know, I hate above all things all Israelite groups because of what they did to my brothers. Right. Some of you brothers out there, you saw what the IUIC did, right? And it challenged your faith, right? It made you think, well, IUIC, you know, so there's so many of them. You're a vagina. You're a god hole. You must be God, because you're a god hole. You know, you look at it. We need to be more like the IUIC. Look at the IUIC. Let me tell you, all that did to me is confirm that my plan is the one true righteous and that my enemies deserve indignation. They deserve it. The way that we think about them is true. It's true. And brother, this is real victory, which is what Dawada has and Kafazai has. Dawada over that homosexual pedophile nature boy, and Kafazai over that pedophile shit. Right. Over that pedophile polite. You don't have to debate which one is correct or who is right or who will win in the end. The debate is over. And with the IUIC, I'm going to fight in the name of God until even the IUIC knows that we are victorious over them. When they say, when I can get from them what Dawada has with Nature Boy and what comments I have with Polite. The battle is over and they won. You think Polite doesn't know who won? He knows right now. You think Nature Boy doesn't know? He knows right now. And one day, the IUIC will know. Now, I just have to have patience because one day to the Lord is like 1,000 years. I pray you understand. All right, warrior. Come on. Okay, I gave you the precepts for the. Is that good enough for you? I'll take that back to you. Did I finish Luke? Kadazai, what should I do from here?
Yeah, Luke was done, sir. I just wondered if I could. So I
Go ahead. Y'all gotta tell me the time. I've been waiting for you. I look at the time, but nobody said a damn thing. Okay, just tell me what to do. Now I keep teaching until I'm told to stop. You tell me to stop, I'll stop. Okay, let's go next. See me one more time. They're gonna keep me up there. The brother's giving me a proper pull. Who's this dignified brother pouring this liquor? He's giving me one finger. That's responsible. I've been to some camps like they take me up the hair about 5. They take me to 5 fingers. But I prefer his 2 fingers right here. Why? Responsibility. That's why. That's right. Discipline. Thank you. Now don't count how many cups I get. That's your problem. Each cup is 2 fingers. I'm being responsible. All right, go ahead.
I
appreciate you.
You were speaking on Christ earlier.
Can I get a tonic water too, please?
You were speaking on Christ earlier about him going before the Most High and being in that state of bloodedness. Is that why the disciples couldn't recognize him because of the level of the damage to his body?
Okay, now I can't recall whether he saw the disciples after he was changed or before. I can't recall that. I might need to read the Bible a little bit.
Well, it says that
to jog my memory. I know they couldn't. I couldn't, but the fact that they couldn't recognize him could mean he was changed already. But he was not changed when Timothy saw him, Thomas, and when the sister saw him. So I have to see. You have to just jog my memory. Without seeing it, I'm about 80% sure he was changed when they saw him when they were fishing, But he was not changed when Timothy saw him. Timothy recognized it was him, but couldn't believe it was him because he was supposed to be dead. The sister saw it was him, wanted to go embrace him, but couldn't touch him because he was not changed. So that's what I would have to give you without my memory being jogged.
This is my real question, sir. This is Revelations chapter 6, verse 9. It says, and when he had opened the fifth seal, I saw under the altar the souls of them that were slain for the word of God, and for the testimony which they held. And they cried with a loud voice, saying, how long, O Lord, who is true, dost thou not avenge our blood, them that dwell on the earth? So, sir, I don't know if this is in a vision, but if you could break it down something, what the honest means and what the Most High is showing.
This is a vision. Let's start with that. This is a metaphor. This is not literal, but it all means something, like a good metaphor does. Now start from the top.
Verse 9. 6, verse 9. And when he had opened the fifth seal, I saw under the altar the souls of them.
He opened the fifth seal. So imagine a book. John saw the trouble and the torment and the oppression these people were going to go through. And then an angel said, there is no one worthy to open the book. Inside the book is justice for our oppression. Inside the book was the reward for us standing with our God. But the book was sealed. So imagine, think of you having an inheritance. Now you're poor in the ghetto every day. But then all of a sudden, some family member left you an inheritance. Now you're about to be kicked out and you're living in your car. But in this contract, your uncle gave you millions of dollars. But guess what? No one can open it. You're about to be evicted. Your kids are starving. You have nothing. If someone could just read this, they would have to give you millions of dollars because it's your inheritance. John saw that no one in the earth or above the earth was worthy to open that book. And John cried. Because that means he's never going to ever go without being poor. He's going to suffer and die forever, and so will his children and his children's children. Why? Because this book is where it says we get to rule the planet. No one could open it. No one was good enough. No one was brave enough. No one was loyal enough. So you might as well get high. I went to a conference recently where they talked about anxiety and fear. And in this lecture, this doctor said something that I know is true from my work, that there are pains and traumas in life that either you get rid of, you face, or you accept them, and you just live life with them. And the only way to live life with them is drugs and alcohol. That's it. There's no other way. Drugs and alcohol are the medicine that you need daily, hourly, with cigarettes every 15 minutes. You need to keep your pain, your anxiety, your fear, your trauma. If you're going to just live like that, you're going to need to get high. You're going to need alcoholism. There's no way to live with that. It's like a sickness that there's a cure, but the cure is hard. The cure is rough. And then there's living with it. Living with it requires drugs and alcohol, right? John knew that in this state, we would have to live with this. There would be no ending. The cure is in here. If you're poor, the cure is in this inheritance. If you're tired of suffering and dying, the cure is in here. The angel said, there's no one worthy enough to open it and read your inheritance. Read what you should have because of your bloodline. He wept. He cried. And the angel said, weep not, John, for the Lion of the tribe of Judah is worthy to open the book. He can do it. None of us can do it. We're not worthy, but the Lion of the tribe of Judah, he is worthy to open the book. And then the seals start popping. And now we're reading rulership on the planet Earth. Now we're reading the inheritance of the chosen people of God. We're reading we're not spicks. We're not niggers. We're the lost sheep of the house of Israel. And because of that, the world was made for your sakes. And every time a lock opens up, on this book, we're reading how the future is for us. We don't need to be alcoholics and drug addicts. We don't need to cope with this forever depression that your mother and your father had. We don't need to have it because the book is open. That's the context you need to understand the rest of it. Keep going.
Oh, God, so. And when he had opened the fifth seal, I saw under the altar the souls of them that were slain.
So now the seal is the lock. Fifth seal opens. As that opens, what does he see? He sees the souls of them that were slain for the word of God. That's what you need. The souls, meaning what? It's not their physical body, but it's them. That's what your soul is. Your soul is who you are, regardless of the body. Why? Because when you die, you lose the body, but the soul never dies. So Jeremiah, Ezekiel, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, they have new bodies, but they're the same soul. They're here today, walking the earth today, doing what they've always done, observing the covenant of God, but they have new bodies. So he sees the souls of them that were killed for the word of God. Keep going.
Sir. And for the testimony which they held.
And they were killed for the word of God and for the testimony. What's a testimony? Words that come out of your mouth. People hate us out. You know how many years I've been in the truth, and someone will say that the UPK is the Black Ku Klux Klan. Have you ever heard that before? Brother, forget about it. I've heard that so many times, it's ridiculous. And I always wonder, how are we the Black Ku Klux Klan? We don't burn crosses in white people's yards. We don't lynch white people. We don't commit any acts of violence at all. But people still say we're the Black Ku Klux Klan. They put us in that magazine, the Southern Poverty Law Center, a magazine that was created for who? The Ku Klux Klan in the South, because the Southern Poverty Law Center was trying to point out skinheads and the Ku Klux Klan who are killing black people. Now we're in the goddamn book. We in the same book that was created so that black people could know about organizations who were killing them. We're in the book and we kill no one, hurt nobody. We are hated for our testimony. We're hated because of what we say, because we say we're being killed, because we say they're oppressing us. We're hated for that. Well, in the past, you were killed for that. You were killed for this. Where are you now? Under the altar, which is what you're about to read. This is where you find the souls of them that were killed in the past for the word of God and for his testimony. So if I was looking for Peter, who was killed for the word of God, if I was looking for James, who was killed, where would I find James? Just give me what the word says right here. I would find him under the altar. Who's under the altar? Who's at the altar? This thing, altar.
The priest.
The priest is at the altar. He's there. So if I'm looking for James, for Peter, for the disciples of Christ who were killed, they'll be in the work. They'll be right here working. They'll be here. That's how I know it's them. Once again, you know who someone is from the past by what they do, not by magic. Where is Peter? Here. Where is James? Here. Where is Andrew? Here. Where is Isaiah, Ezekiel, Elisha? Here, under the altar. They live in this work. They live here. That's them. And that's why it says their souls. Because they look different. They're in different bodies. But they do what they've always done, young man. They do what they've always done. They exalt the nation of Israel. They fight for the inheritance of Israel. And they fight the other nations who would take away that inheritance. That's what they've always done. And where are they at? Under the altar. Where does the altar represent? The work of God. The priesthood of God. They live in there. That's where they always are. If you're looking for them, that's where you can find them. I pray you understand that.
All right.
Anything else?
It was a little long.
Do you think? That's your precept, warrior. The spirits of the prophets are subject to the prophets give a man.
In verse 10, sir, it says, and they cried with a loud voice, saying, how long, O Lord?
They did what?
They cried with a loud voice,
So
saying,
they're in the work of God, under the altar, living in the work of God, and they're doing what?
They cried with a loud voice.
They're doing what?
Cried
with
a loud voice.
Then what are they doing in that work? Are they singing about sweet Jesus and his mercy? Are they going, hallelujah, Jesus, Jesus? Are they singing gospel songs like the IUIC?
Awesome.
What are they doing then, boy?
Crying with a loud voice.
They are yelling. They are yelling. They're yelling at downtown Austin, downtown Dallas, downtown Houston, downtown Killeen, downtown San Antonio. Everyone knows you for your loud effing mouth. That's what everyone knows about you. Because they know when they're trying to go to work or they're trying to go from sin to sin, there you are yelling in their goddamn face. Why do you do it? Because you are the prophets of the past. You're the people that have died for the work of God. And they cried with their loud voice. Go ahead.
Saying, how long, O Lord?
Saying what?
How long, O Lord?
Saying what?
How long?
Saying, how long? How long, O Lord? When, O Lord? When will we get justice? When will we get revenge by your hand? You see, the prophets of God are not saying, make peace with them.
Right.
Jesus said, Jesus, we have to make peace here. We have to join America. We have to just love everybody. The prophets of God are eager, passionate, zealous, and they want this to be over. They want it to be over. How long, O Lord? Go ahead.
Come on, sir. How long, O Lord? Holy and true, dost thou not judge and avenge our blood on them that dwell on the earth?
How long what?
How long, O Lord, dost thou not judge and avenge our blood on them that dwell on the earth?
What did the disciples of Christ want who were killed in the past?
Salaki, to avenge our blood on them that dwell on the earth.
Yeah, I've heard that before. I haven't heard it outside of here. The prophets who have been killed in the past, they want revenge.
That's right.
That's what they want. I just read it in the New Testament.
Oh,
They're yelling for what? Love? The grace of Jesus. The glory of Jesus and all his work, Jesus, his sweet Jesus. Now, the people who were killed in the past want revenge for being killed in the past. Why is that so much goddamn complication? That's what they want. They've been killed for saying what you say. And they want revenge. Now, let me blow your mind. Have you ever wondered why you chose this camp? And the thing about us that attracted you could have joined 1,000 Israelite groups, 1,000 mom and pop Israelite groups out there. There's tons of them. Oh, there's a ton of Shabbat Shalom. Even if you want to be Israelite, there's a ton of fringe t-shirt Israelites out there. And there is one thing different about them that is different about us. Everybody knows what that thing is. Right? I mean, that thing is clear, right? You know what that thing is? We're going to crystallize it. Anger. That's how we're different. That's how we're different from every mom and pop Israelite, from the IUIC, from your mama's church. There is an anger in the UPK that causes everyone to hate us. And that is the thing that attracted you. Now you know why. Because you were killed by these same pigs in the past. And you want revenge. You never knew why you felt this way. Some of you felt strange and felt like you were wrong for feeling that anger. You felt like it was unchristian-like, to feel that feeling of, I want him gone. I heard with the warrior, Como te llamas, warrior in the back. Say again? Tazayad. That's your name, Tazayad? Listen, Tazayad, you hear what he said. He said, why can't we kill him now? That's what he said. Yeah? Right. Let me tell you, that feeling is in all of us. and we just learned how to actually accomplish it. And it's not done through weapons. It's done through faith. That anger is what is in you. And it's why you chose us in so many cases. It's that thing you heard, like, I want to say that. I want to stand up there and say that to them. I want to do it. I need to do it. Yeah. Some of you one day will realize why you want to do it. I pray you understand. Go ahead.
So just one more verse to break it down for water.
Go ahead.
In verse 11, and white robes were given to every one of them. And it was said unto them that they should rest yet for a little season until their fellow servants also and their brethren that should be killed as they were should be fulfilled.
You heard that, Tazayah? What do you got to do? You got to rest a little while, warrior. That's all. Have some patience. Cool out. Right? Cool out. Tranquilo. What is that? Is that calm down? Tranquilo. That's all. Tranquilo. That's all you need, warrior. That's all you need. That's all you need. Tranquilo. That's all. Just cool out for a second now. That's all. Just wait. Once all of us are here, what we're doing right now is gathering the other men who were killed in the past. There are brothers who are not in the truth yet that were killed in the past for the word of God. We go to camp and we go on the internet to find them. Because once all of us are here together, brother, then we're going to have justice on it, you know. And it's going to be glorious in my sight, warrior. Then we're going to have our day. We're going to have our day. Everybody understands. All right, next. Young warrior.
If I could, so I get a breakdown on Matthew the 4th chapter, verse 11. I'll start at verse 10. It says, then said Yahweh to him, give thee hint, when it is written, thou shalt worship the Lord thy God, and him only shalt thou serve. Verse 11. Then the devil looked at him, and behold, angels came and ministered unto him. My question, sir, is the last angels came and ministered unto
So this is when Christ was being tempted. This is an important precept for all of you to understand, because if you endure, all of you will go through this. Right? Christ was under depression because he knew that the future meant pain for him. He knew he had to go through a torment. He knew he had to be tested. He knew that he would be under so much pain that he could not get out of. Let me tell you a reason that you still smoke, and the reason that you commit those sexual things you do at home that you think we don't know about. It's because you cannot take the pain of not having the sex. The pain of not having the sex is greater than the pain you get from having the sex. Because, of course, when you have illicit sex with whores and prostitutes, after you do it, there's a pain. Your conscience hurts you. A lot of you get venereal diseases. That hurts you, right? It's painful to do a sin. To do something you know is wrong is painful. Then a lot of you get arrested. A lot of you get venereal diseases. All kinds of things happen to you because of your alcoholism, because of your sexual deviance. Those things hurt. But the pain of not doing it hurts more. And so really beating addiction is when the pain of not doing it is not as bad as the pain of doing it. So if I'm an alcoholic or a drug addict, I'm going to hurt when I don't get drugs. I need to smoke weed. I need a cigarette. It's driving me crazy not to have one. One day I'll have so much pain from smoking that I'll finally stop smoking. Because smoking will just cause so much pain that I'll say, you know what, I'd rather go through the pain of not smoking than to go through the pain of smoking. That's how you defeat addiction. Your life, you're just running from pain. You don't want to feel it. You don't want to feel the urge to smoke, so you smoke. You don't want to feel the urge of not having a drink, so you drink. You don't want to feel the urge of not having the sex that you want, so you do it, right? One day you'll say, I'm going to take that pain so I don't have to take the other one. That's how you defeat addiction. And you're running from it your entire life. Read that last precept again. I'm sorry, go ahead.
I read some of the psychology book.
Uh-huh.
Talking about there's a type of suffering that puts an end to suffering, and suffering that causes more suffering.
That's true. That part is true. Sure. That's true. Like if you want to defeat a demon, you gotta face suffering. Jesus Christ is on this mountain, and he has fasted for 40 days. He is thirsty beyond belief, hungry beyond belief, starving to death. And Satan comes and says, turn this stone into bread and end that pain. End it. Now you're not hungry anymore. Eat this, eat it. No more pain from hunger. It's over. Oh, you won't do that. You know what Jesus Christ's reply was? He said, man shall not live by bread alone, but by every word that proceeded from the mouth of God. You make me think I need that bread to live. But I know that's not all I need. I need to obey God too. And God wants me to go through this suffering. Then Satan said, fine, you know what? Then just throw yourself off of this mountain. Because the angels were given an order to make sure that the soles of your feet would not be bruised. Meaning what? You're going to throw yourself off the mountain and you are going to be fine. A lot of people commit suicide thinking that. You know how many people jump out their window thinking they will fly? A lot of them. They're dead, so you can't ask them. But so many of them think this jump will make me better. I'm going to be fine. It'll end my pain. Everything will be better if I jump. Or else why would they jump? They jump because they believe this makes their problem better. They're in pain right now, right? So sure, they don't think jumping will cause more pain. They think jumping makes the pain go away. You know what Trey said when he was told the same thing that every suicide victim is told. He said, thou shalt not mock the Lord thy God. Don't you be so stupid to think that I think I can jump off this mountain and not die. You're going to make God angry with that type of stupid talk. That's dumb. That makes the Lord angry. I'm not jumping because I'm going to die if I jump. I know that. I know if I jump off this mountain, I'll be dead. Why? Because I chose with the Most High God and make it angry. We're thinking there's some scripture in the Bible that says I can commit suicide and live. I'm not doing it. Then it was over. And then the disciples came to get him. He went off that mountain, and guess what? The Romans came, put a crown of thorns on his head, and forced a purple robe on him. The IUIC wears purple because of this. Forced a purple robe on him. Then they offered him gall and vinegar. You know what gall is? Gall is poison. This same man who was tempted to kill himself on this mountain, when he tasted the poison, he spit it out. He spit it out. When he tasted it, it was poison. Why? Because now he refuses to commit suicide. He refuses to take his own life. So when they handed him gall and vinegar, told him that it was wine, he tasted the bitterness of the poison, and he spit it out. And he went up on that cross like a goddamn man. And because of that, he is the Lord of Lords and the King of Kings to this day. Go ahead. No.
So this scripture, when it said take the bread, take the stone, turn it into bread. Because we
Go ahead.
Good.
Go ahead.
As a young man, I heard somebody break it down as, we see stones turning into bread all the time. We take, we hungry, we depressed, we starving out here.
Mm-hmm.
And all the stones into bread, like rocks or bricks. Do we use it in the same type of sense?
Okay, I get what you're saying. That you could do that. That's the same sentiment, meaning you're hungry and you want to end your hunger by doing something that's wrong. And that's correct. That's absolutely correct. When what should you do? Go ahead. Yeah, that's not all. That you don't need just bread to live. Of course, you need bread to live, but that ain't all. So in essence, I need to find a way to eat and not disobey God at the same time. Why? Because I don't only need bread, I also need the word of God to live. So if I go and just get only bread, then I'm still going to die. But if I can eat and obey God, I'm going to live. So I believe that's what you're saying, and whoever taught you that is correct. All right, next.
Like, the The question I had is specific to the later part. Angels came and everything else.
Okay. Oh, I got you a lot. That's why you have to go straight to you and what you are going through in this situation. And you get depressed about your poverty, about your suffering, about what you think might happen in the future that might be terrible, and you don't want to go through it. But then you commit yourself not to killing yourself. There's a time in many of your lives when you'll consider suicide, where you'll think about it. You'll think about it like it's a solution to a problem. That's what Satan was trying to do with Christ. Throw yourself off the building. Throw yourself off the mountain. It's a solution. Turn this stone into bread. It's a solution. Do something evil to end your pain. Then, if you are strong, you'll decide, I'm not ending this suffering. I'm going through this. I am going through this. I'm not ending it early. I'm not taking away the pain. I'm taking the pain. If you do that, angels will come and serve you. Then now you get encouraged. Now, the minute you decide, I'm not killing myself, I'm not smoking, I'm not getting high, all of a sudden now, things start to go your way. The angels come into your life and begin to strengthen you when you thought you couldn't have strength. You thought you had to do it. You thought you had to get high. You thought you had to kill yourself. All of a sudden, your mind changes. You start to realize, wait a minute, the things are going to get better. Wait a minute, I see how things can get better. Hold up, I got a line to get some money where I don't have to sell drugs. I got a line on a place to live. Hold up, I can live with the brothers. I thought I had no home. I'm calling the brothers up, man. We're going to live together. Hold up. I thought when that slut left me, my life was over. Come to find out, good women see that a man is here for them. Now I get a new woman. Now I get sisters and family. When I thought I lost sisters and I lost family. That's the angels tending to you, helping you since you have decided to obey God and to live. The power to live is a strong thing. It's powerful. If you can take hold of it, oh, it's good. When you can just decide, I'm not dying. Damn that. Damn that. My father died like this. My cousins died like this. I'm not doing that. I don't care how much I have to hurt to live. Before you know it, things start just to go your way and your brain changes and your thoughts changes. That's the angels who come to tend to you. You understand? Go ahead, David.
It's like, sir, it's kind of a lot, but that brought me to mind about when Paul asked Christ, asked him how to take it from him, asked him 3 times to take it from him. I did have a question about that part.
Yeah.
2 Corinthians 9, when the Most High told my grace is sufficient for me, the part where it's for my strength is made perfect in weakness.
Oh, yeah, boy. That's a precept on exactly what we're talking about. You're going to break down the story.
Yeah, just kind of hold it on that part.
Paul, just for the context, Paul had a weakness, something that was still pulling at him to do. I always kind of liken it as to the desire to smoke. The desire to smoke can last a long time, where even though you're not smoking, even though you're not getting high, you can feel the feeling of you want to get high, which is why drug addicts relapse, I think at 98%, the stats say. So as you go to get off of drugs and get off of cigarettes, you won't smoke, but you're going to want to smoke for a long time. You'll feel the feeling of, boy, I need it. I sure like to get high right now. What's that smell? Somebody, you go into a bar, you smell weed. Oh man, that's that good sticky weed. What's that? That's that new stuff. That's that new strain they got. What's the new strain y'all be smoking? What's the new strain y'all smoking? Dawa. Go ahead, Dawa. What did you call? Yeah. Zaza. That's the Dawa. Listen. Dawa smoke that Zaza. I'm only joking. Dawa don't smoke a goddamn thing. Dawa know. Dawa, you know what they smoking now. Dawa know what your ass is smoking. You smoking Zaza, and Dawa know. You smell it and you like, Lord have mercy. That's what I need because I got no job I'm miserable, and all I think about is my problems. I could use some Zaza right now tonight. And you'll feel that feeling even though you don't smoke. Well, Paul had that. And he wanted to be free from the temptation, free from wanting it. A lot of you come in the truth and you're really only sexually excited by whores. That happens to you because your first sex was with a prostitute or something like that at 13. You know, you bought a prostitute with your friends. All of you shared her like you share a milkshake and put 7 straws in a goddamn milkshake. You went and had some type of nasty orgy with some prostitute. You really only are attracted to whores. And you're not attracted to women who are good. You're attracted to prostitutes. And even though you do not have sex with a prostitute, you'll feel the feeling of, boy, I would like to have sex with a whore. Think about that when you read this precept down there. He had that feeling. And he asked the Lord 3 times to take it from him, to take the desire to sin from him. Go ahead, Dawid.
So it says, for my strength is made perfect in weakness.
So read that part above it. He asked the Lord 3 times. Thrice.
2 Corinthians chapter 12, verse 8. For this thing I besought the Lord Christ, that it might impart to me.
You get it? So this is a feeling. This is not him doing things. This is a feeling and thought that he wants to leave. So imagine it like one thing of sin. He's tired of wanting it. He asked the Lord 3 times to take it away. Keep going.
Verse 9, and he said unto me, my grace is sufficient for thee.
The Most High's reply was what?
My grace is sufficient for thee.
I'm not taking away the desire. Some brothers, you have to live with wanting to get high. Stay like that. Stay with that desire. Keep it. Keep that feeling of you're an alcoholic and you know you should not drink. And you are going to want a drink. And that desire is staying. You're going to continue to want to drink. That's not leaving. The Most High's grace is good enough. His mercy is good enough. Meaning what? You can blow my mind with the answer. If you can get it, it might chase away some weakness out of you. Because you got so much bitch madeness in you. It's hard to even look at it. His grace is enough. That's all, young warrior right here.
Since he didn't kill you,
give him a hand. What's your name? Komateyama. What's your name?
Officer in the car, sir.
Officer in the car. What city are you?
Austin, sir.
That's Austin. That was you showed me something in Austin. There might be hope. I might not have to kick all of you efforts out the school. Because that was a hard question. Yeah, that's enough. How good do things have to be for you to stand like an effing man? So you telling me I didn't kill you like I should have. I should have killed you. I brought you into the truth. I fixed all of your problems. I gave you a new family. A lot of you mother effers complain because of your family. Now you got a good one. You still have an excuse? You telling me you still have an excuse? You know how many sisters I've counseled and said, I didn't have a father. I didn't have a father. All right, now you do have one. Now I'm telling you what to do. I'm not doing that. Bitch, didn't you say you wanted a father? Here it is. You got it now. Shut your mouth and obey your husband. I'm not doing that. Well, you know what? It's a good thing I'm not your father. Because otherwise I'd be offended by that. You see, you want a father, but you don't want one that you have to obey. You want a family and brothers, but you don't want loyalty you have to give. Isn't your life enough? I have to take away the desire to sin too. That's what I got to do for you. How much has to be done for you to be loyal to God? So in other words, he has to forgive you for all of your past sins. You're not in prison. Don't you know you should be in jail? Raise your hand if you have done things and the police don't know about it. And if they knew about it, you would have been arrested. Isn't that enough? How much more do I have to get? I gotta get more than that. That's not enough for me. I also have to never want to smoke weed. I also have to never want to kill somebody. I also have to never want anything that's evil. My life was not good enough, which he gave me because of grace. You know what? That might have to be good enough. It might have to be. Anything else? Next. I decide. No cross the line tonight. Okay, let me know when I should end this class. We're gonna do it again in Killeen. Where is Killeen? How long from here? 45 minutes, no problem. We can go to Killeen, Texas. Get it on. What y'all doing out there? All right, we'll do the same class. Same thing everywhere. We'll get it on out. Where we at? We're in Austin tonight. It's Austin. Who's the camp leader of Austin? Officer $1, just everybody can see him give a $1. The camp leader of Austin, Texas. We're in Austin tonight. What else is on the pass? Are you getting ready for the pass, though? You better be getting ready. You better pay that $200 too. I don't want to hear any other nonsense about that $200. Just call me about it if you got a problem. So we can discuss it. I mean, I'm available to you 24 hours a day. If I was you, I would pay that $200. How much is that in a month's weed? Let me think about that. How much is that Zaza for? Dollar. For $200, how much Zaza can I get, Dollar? You don't know nothing about that. He don't know a damn thing about that. You stop asking. Well, I'm gonna guess it's about what? $200 in your bag. Damn. 2 days. That sounds about right. $200 of that powder cocaine is about 10 minutes of powder cocaine. Right? Yeah, I think you got it. I think you have it. I think you found a way to get it done. All right. So go ahead and do it. $200, Commanding General Yohana, against my counsel, has made that everything is for $200. You pay $200. You get the kids to watch your badass kids who are terrible to watch. You get into the all-black party. Have you heard about the all-black party systems? Oh my goodness. Listen, shut your mouth about what happens in there. Listen, we're going to get an all-black party. The brothers are going to be rapping and jamming and doing all kinds of fun things. We're wearing all black meaning dressing in all black for the all-black party. It's a full concert. And also this year, we're featuring some sisters. But China Monet, listen, give our hands, China Monet. Listen, and for those of you out there hating about China Monet, you better thank the Most High. Because the generals in here, we getting old. And we damn near had my neck and my back girl up in there this year. I ain't know the difference. We damn near, this year, listen, who we having? My neck, my back, listen, she could have been there too. I don't know the difference. I said, who we having? My neck and my back girl? All right, fuck it, bring it on in there. My neck and my back. The crack and everything. Now, just to be clear, this is not the my neck and my back girl. Got this on? Okay then. All right. This is not the my neck and my back girl. All right. We getting in there. We getting it on. We're having a wonderful time. So that pays for the all black party. What else? The kids. God damn it! I have laser tag too for $200. A petting zoo for $200. Transportation for $200. Yeah, listen, thank the Lord. Commander General Yohana is merciful and kind. Okay, you should pay this $200. Okay, you should pay it. You should pay 2 days worth of Zaza. 15 minutes of that good coke. They come out of New York, out of the Dominican's neighborhood down there in New York, Washington Heights, right? That good coke that come out of Washington Heights. You should pay that $200. Everybody understands. All right, so get your money together, come to the Passover. It's like next week or something, right? Am I wrong? 2 weeks. Shit, man, you better get on the road. You better get ready. All right, so everybody gets that. We're going to Colleen also Saturday, doing all kinds of fun things. I'm sure it's online. Look online. Is that it, or we got something else to do? Any questions? That's all. With that, who's taking the class? With that, pass the class to Captain Yatazak.
Israel, Imagine Shabbat, Imagine Barak, Yahweh.
Hashem Yahushua for the thumb.
That's the time. We're going to turn toward the foot. We refer to the men of Israel, Imagine Shabbat, Imagine Barak, Yahweh. Now give him a clap. This way.